sit. I will do a quality check if there is no lag on my end, and then we can start the interview. Okay, we'll share the game's Steam page on the chat too. There. Let me highlight it. There. And yeah.
Now I know where to look at. I don't know what I should be looking at.
Have I sent you the link to my stream?
Yeah, but I'm looking there and like first of all I need to
you have to open up the chat tab, because there are so many tabs. There are like videos, about, information, and you have to go to the chat, and then you can see the stream and the chat if you see something.
right.
Like that. Yeah, and you will be able to see the chat, so if people will be asking.
Yeah. I see.
Nice.
I think it's better to look at this camera for me because I see myself. I don't want to do that. I'd rather see you.
Yeah. Yeah, and also there is like a latency. It's like 1-2 seconds late. Yeah. So it's like. Szia, Mosi! Mosi, jó a minőség? Hölgyek, urak, jó a minőség? Nincs lag? Okay, let me sit into my original position here. Let me... just a second. I have so many cables here, oh my god. Jó a minőség, hölgyek, urak? Üdvözletem mindenkinek. Is the quality good? Ladies and gentlemen, there is no lag on my end, because I know I had some problems with this lag since there will be a new update, but let us know if we can start. Tökéletes? Super. Perfect. Okay, let me know if we can start, if you're down to start.
I'm good.
Okay, I'm good too. Nice. So welcome everyone in this very new episode of my Dev Live show. I'm very honored and very thankful that the creator of the game so-called Darkenstein 3D joined us today. And like I'm always saying, let's start with a little bit of introduction. So please introduce yourself for us.
So I'm Rowye Creus.
Okay.
I usually go by Rowye. Most people call me Rowye, but we usually say Rowye here. It's a fake name, so you can choose to pronounce it whichever way you want. It's all good.
Okay.
And I'm a rather new developer. I'm currently working still as an illustrator, as a visual designer, and I'm also a musician. So I've been doing that for 3 years now.
Okay.
And the first thing I did was start this game, and I'm still doing it. And I don't know why I always choose such big projects. I should probably have done a little game first.
It's very honest.
It is what it is, man. I think I cannot do stuff that I don't feel is going to be great in some way, I guess. Or because I planned for this to be a small game, and it took me 3 years, so it's a whole thing.
I see.
And I'm still working on it. So
okay, yeah. So from what you have said, I got 2 questions for you. So first of all, where your nickname has come from?
Actually, it's a name people used to give me when we were younger, and they like to mess with me and change my name in several ways, and I just picked this one and kept it. And I guess once I kind of picked up on the name, the whole messing around stopped, because once I accept it, then it's all good, and I like it, so it works. And I use that for a long time. I still have remnants of my old online name, which is I used to do Red Rum from The Shining, and I made maps under that name like 20 years ago. But I don't consider that deving. I just like level editing.
I see. Okay. So that other question that I would like to bring up, that you mentioned that you wanted first to work like on smaller projects, but it ended up being a bigger project. Are you happy with the fact that it ended up like being a way bigger project for you to make?
Sure, I think I'm happy and I'm happy. I wouldn't say I'm happy, but I also wouldn't say it's the best thing to do. You know what I mean?
Like, it's your passion, right? So you're at the right place.
Because I started just because I wanted to do it. It was like a year after the whole COVID thing. The world was still like kind of stopped, and I was in this moment where AI is starting to come up, and I'm starting to see that I might not have as much work as a visual artist
Okay.
for so long. Maybe, I mean, I'm still working on it, but it's definitely lowered. And I'm also, I guess, in Spanish we say culo inquieto, which means it doesn't translate very well. It's like a person who every few years, or someone who wants to learn new stuff all the time. And
I
so
see.
I'm never happy with the stuff I know. And sometimes maybe you would say I never master anything, but I know for a lot of things. I know music editing, video editing.
It's the chase for the knowledge, right?
Yeah, it lasts a long time. So I still got a few or many years of deving. And I also, one thing about deving that I think is so interesting is that I get to do everything I know. You know what I mean? I know I get to do filmography, I get to do music, I get to
True,
do
true, true,
code,
true, true, true.
and that's one of the things that I think is most amazing about it. I really do love that.
I see. I see.
Like
Okay.
I've been.
No, no, go for that. Sorry, sorry.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I spent the last week and a half just doing cutscenes. So
Nice,
I'm like, I'm
nice.
now watching movies and being like, oh, I like that shot. Oh, you know what I mean? Like, and I haven't done any movie like stuff in these 3 years, but now I'm
Nice.
finishing the game and I'm like, okay, I need an ending. I need to learn how this works, and I get to do mini movies in my game, and that's
You
isn't
always
that
like challenging yourself, right? If you don't
yeah,
know something.
and
Nice.
having a lot of fun too.
Nice. Nice to hear that. Okay, so for me, it is always very interesting to hear people's origin stories behind how they got connection with video games. So what's your story about that? What was your very first connection with video games, if you remember that?
Very first connection. I mean, I wouldn't say the first one, but the first computer I had is an Amstrad CPC
Okay.
464.
Okay.
And it was a green screen too, so I didn't even see the colors for so many years in my
Okay.
childhood. And I don't know. I remember playing Oh Mommy, or this kind of. Did Oh Mommy come with all Amstrad, or it was only in Spain? Maybe it was only in Spain.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I might have heard about that game, but I'm sure that
But,
I haven't played it. Yeah.
I mean, I still remember these amazing games like Match Day or whatever, football games, or
Yeah.
Crazy Buggy, or I don't know. It's good times, man. But when you're a kid, you just see it in a different way. And also, games were very different back
True.
then. But
True. 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 True.
now it's like I remember playing. The first memory I have about dabbing is I remember playing. I think it was Charlie Thompson's Olympics or something like that.
Okay.
An Olympics game, and I remember having a lot of fun trying to imagine how I would make it better, what other challenges would you put in the game, and that was an idea I had like even when I was a teenager, and
Okay.
then it left, and I went to do other stuff, and like when I'm 35 or like 40 something, then I get back to it, and I'm like, oh, I like this. Let's get back to it.
Nice. Okay. And so you always had the idea for this game of yours that you are working on now, or was it like a very new idea of yours?
That was I was Actually, it was I just made a tutorial that was make a Wolfenstein 3D game like.
Okay. Okay.
And it was a 9 hour long tutorial. I didn't
Okay.
know how to code. I had never coded before.
Okay.
So I mean I knew a bit of HTML and CSS, but that's like very light coding. It's not the same at all. So to be honest, when I started, I thought I'm gonna get to make games, and nowadays making games is just gonna be pick a template and change a few things, and you got a game. And it is nothing like that. And it's really nothing like that. I had to make everything from scratch. So it's like good learning experience on both ways, because I thought it was going to be really easy, and it wasn't. Even though I realized it wasn't, I'm like, I like this so much, I'm still going to do it.
There,
And
there
so
are
here,
times when you wanted to give up, like it was so hard that you wanted to give up, or no, not at all.
yeah, not because it was so hard. I
Okay.
think it is more because I think it's really hard to understand how long it is 3 years for a project. I mean, it's
True.
really
True.
damn long. You know what I mean? I'm used to committing 30 hours, 50 hours for an illustration. 3 years, that's a long time. And, along these 3 years, a lot of things are going to happen to you. Life is going to change, and you're
True.
still doing the same project.
True. But
And,
that's commitment, right? And it comes with passion. So yeah.
yeah. And you never really want to quit, but sometimes you want to have it done. You know what I mean? I don't
Yeah.
want to quit it because I want to finish this. big thing I'm doing, but at the same time, it's like sometimes I wish it was done so I could do something else and get to, because for instance, I know so much more about coding now. I mean, I'm definitely not an expert coder, but I know how to organize documents and how to organize a project. I had no idea when I built this game, so now I have to deal with that because the game is built by someone who didn't know how to code.
True.
So a lot of times I'm thinking, man, if I had my own project now, how would I make it? I would make it
Yeah.
so much better.
Yeah.
I've done a couple of prototypes and I know I can do it better. So it's frustrating, but at the same time, it's like it's so big now, and I'm so close to the end too. So
Nice. Love it. Love it. And what have helped you being motivated during the process of making your game throughout all these years?
you mean like influences and stuff, or?
No, no, like what like experiences, or what kind of people in your close friends or family have kept you like being motivated and pushed you towards that, not to give up? Like, what experiences did you have in life that made you like think in a positive way that you should keep on going and not give up of making your game?
I mean, I don't know. I try to convince myself more than look for other people approval
I
because
see.
sometimes
Okay.
because it's also really hard to if you if you're gonna do something that's gonna take so long, like people who are looking for your
You were
more
always like
immediate.
that, by the way. Sorry for interrupting. Like, you were always like that before in your life, that you rather try to convince yourself to push you to yourself to the limits and not to give up and not to
Yeah,
like
I don't
have
generally look
others.
outside. Yeah, I don't look outside very much though. I think as an artist, everyone actually is looking outside, even if you don't think that you're
True,
looking
true. It's
outside.
not intentional, but they do that.
You're
Yeah, yeah.
kind of always doing it for other people. So in the end, obviously what other people think matters, but I mostly just get into modes and I go into doing stuff and I can't stop.
I see.
So I just do the things because I kind of need have this will that to make things.
I see. Okay.
And if I don't do that, I find that I find myself more. I don't know if depressed is the right word, but I feel like I need to express myself in different artistic ways. Be it visuals or deving or music, which is
Okay.
probably the most important thing in my life.
I see. And so, it will be a more personal question. I hope that you don't mind it. Do you feel like your family and your very close friends were supportive about your decision that you started making games? How do you feel about that?
Yeah, in general, yeah, definitely,
Okay.
definitely.
Okay.
It's just but that's what I was going to say before I cut myself.
Okay.
When you're going to do something that's going to take so long and it's not going to give you any benefits for a long time, people who are worried about your immediate well-being are generally going to be like, "But are you sure?" Or are you gonna how are you gonna support yourself? And it's not an easy answer to that because gaming or deving takes a lot of time. You know what I mean? I've done it in 3 years because I spent like when I'm not doing any other work, I may spend 12 hours a day doing this because I like it. I'm not slaving myself. I do it because I wanna. But it might have taken me 5 years to do it because I'm doing everything on my own. So and that's counting that I'm not modeling most of the stuff. I'm just picking models from, you know, free models or buying resources and making like adapting them to my needs. Or I'm definitely editing everything, but I'm not doing the whole work. So it's yeah. I think when you're doing it on your own, and one thing I see too in the community is that most people, everyone has another job because unless you're doing like really really well, it's going to be hard to you know just do it on your own. And like I see a lot of people who are doing stuff like Patreon and stuff like that. I think that's probably more the way to support yourself, 24/7 with this. I haven't tried it yet. I don't feel like I have enough people behind me.
Yeah, but in my opinion, that also can cause an effect where you are like feel more safe, right? So it's like if you succeed of on like getting your founding's goal, then it can mean that it's like a safe play, that you have all the money for it, and it can cause you like in a situation where you feel like, okay, I'm pretty much safe, but at the end of the day you will have bills to pay as well, not just to
Yeah,
finish your game. So it's like it's two-sided thing, like everything.
I'll say this: when my illustration clients ask me to pay me before the job, I generally say no. Some insist, and I'll take the money, but I want to be paid after the job because I know that myself. It's not that I'm not going to do the job if you pay me already, but my incentives are not the same because I'm a human person, and I unconsciously think about safety and security,
True,
and
true, true.
I also get comfortable. And if you give me the money all the time, then why would you want to work, right? So I prefer to be paid at the end. And I think with games, probably in my case, at least for now, it's the same. But also, if you're doing, for instance, a project that requires a lot of modeling and you need custom models, then you're gonna have to hire someone, and you cannot hire someone unless you have funding. So
True.
it's complicated. I don't think it's not a straightforward answer.
Okay, let's see. What do you think? Oh no, go for that. Go for that. Sorry.
I'm just gonna say as a disclaimer, I have no idea what I'm doing. You know what I mean? I'm a new dev,
That's not
and
true because your game
well,
looks awesome. So
right, but in the
you
sense
are
of
having fun like kids, right? So you're getting back to your childhood, and I love that.
I'm saying, in the business sense, I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm
Oh,
just
okay.
trying.
But you are a creator. You do not have to know like everything. Like
Right.
it's like we are always discussing it at my dev live shows that most of the creators are not very good at marketing, because they're more focused on creating something. So
Yeah.
that's not a bad thing. And I also
And
like the fact, by the way, that you have your main character has pretty similar looks to you. By the way, we will discuss that a bit
I,
later too.
I never thought about it. I guess I look a bit like a hobo myself, huh?
it's
But
it's like it's like always like that because creators are making their experiences and their lookalikes as well, usually in games. But it's an awesome thing to see, and even if it's not intentional, it's an awesome thing to
definitely
realize.
not. I guess when you say it, it's like I guess it's like me if I had actually gone to the gym, which I never. But
You're also being honest with yourself, right? But that's good. That's good. I mean, you still can like pick up weapons. It's just in games, right? So,
yes,
so what
and
was
I
the
can.
no? Go for that. Go for that. Sorry.
No,
No, go for that. Go for that. Sorry. Sorry. Sorry.
I was just saying I can pick up weapons. I can aim. I can play sometimes. I used to play when I was playing enemy territory Wolfenstein.
Okay.
I was playing competitions. I was in Euro Cups and leagues and stuff like that.
Okay.
So
Nice. Nice.
that
Nice.
that's where a lot of this game comes from. Like after I did that tutorial of 9 hours and I finished it,
Nice.
I
Nice.
was like, okay, I'm gonna finish this game. Like my main thing is Wolfenstein, Return to Castle Wolfenstein and Wolfenstein Enemy Territory because that was my life for like 2 years. I mean, I played that 6 hours a day. I mean, like a lot, way more than I should have been. But
You still play on a competitive level sometimes or
no,
not?
no, no, no. I do play ET sometimes, like
Okay.
once every while. Like one of my good friends, my cousin, still plays it every day. So sometimes I'll join him and play, and it's amazing. But I kind of suck compared to the people who play now because these people have been playing for 25 years. So I
True. True.
stopped
True.
playing.
True. 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 They not quit it, so it's hard to compete with them right now. Yeah, I
So
agree.
good.
And so speaking of this side of your life that you were playing games on a competitive level, how is that you haven't made like a multiplayer game?
I actually kind of stopped with multiplayer myself because it was a problem for me. So I just
Okay.
had to quit it.
Okay.
I was just play too much, get too angry, and I got to a point where I'm like, okay, if I cannot manage this better, then my solution is I just have to stop it because otherwise I'm gonna have a worse life than I could be having, and that's silly. It's fine for a while, and it's definitely amazing to. I mean, it's very fun.
Do you miss those times, by the way?
Oh yeah, oh yeah. But if I was in those times, I would be thinking, why am I not making a game instead? You know what I mean?
I see.
That's what happens to me now when I play. When unless a game is really, really taking my attention, or like when I'm really, really not emotionally implied in the sense that I really like the game, I cannot play more than 45, 60 minutes nowadays because
Okay.
I'm thinking, why am I not making the game? Because
But
I have a
that's
game,
understandable, right? So
and it's when I play games, I see stuff that I should be doing, and I'm thinking about, oh, this is well done, and this. But after a while, I'm like, okay, it's time to make my game
It's
now.
the mind of the creator, right? So
Yeah.
it's rather
So
to
now
create than play.
I don't play very much. I couldn't to play online. People play so much, and they're so good, and I get angry because I think I know how to play, but I don't because I don't play.
But it
And then,
just takes practice. So I guess it's like the anger comes from ourselves, not to like willing to realize that we could be better, right? With
yeah,
practice.
it comes from having been so good at ET and having been used to win all the time.
True, true, true. And now
And
you are losing, and it makes you
like a
be
few years ago, I tried the next game that the ET people did. It's called Dirty Bomb.
okay.
Not a lot of people know it. It's like a bit of more of a hero shooter, but it's
Okay.
still a mix of Quake and ET really, and Quake Wars too, which is another
I
game they
see.
made. And it's super fast, and the aiming is pretty much the same as ET, but the characters have each has a different power, which is something I don't really get into. But I was trying to play that, and people were so good, and I still thought but I'm good, so I get angry about it. I'm like, nah, I gotta stop this, and I stop it. And yeah, it doesn't hurt me so much because I always have stuff to do. I try to get myself busy, and it's generally stuff that I want to do. So
I see. And how do you feel about the fact that nowadays a lot of these multiplayer aspected games or multiplayer games are like uh, getting like to a point where developers like cancel the fast-paced gameplay side or segments of these games, and they tune down a little bit of these fast-paced gameplays, and they tune down those to a little bit slower
you mean that it's more like
paced.
Call of Duty standard, for instance?
Yeah, so I feel like we talked about it like a lot of times with my community, that I feel like a lot of these shooters are being made when developers like release their games. Like for instance, there is a example of the finals, the game called Finals. If you have heard about
Yeah,
it, it was
yeah.
very fast at season one, but I'm not sure if players were complaining or not, because I'm not into like very much of reading complaints on the internet. But they tuned down the slide cancel mechanic in the game, where you could instantly jump slide,
Okay,
for as many times as you could, and you with that you could increase the speed of movement and your character, and then they tune down it to like two slides and one jump, and now
right,
you just can like or being able to like make two slides and one jump, and after that your character is like getting way more slower, so you can't react to any situation that fast as you could. So what do you think could be the case? Do you feel like it's because like developers would like to um, have their game for a more casual audience, or and how do you feel about games like being made into a slower paced level or gameplay?
I'm not sure. I mean, I think games nowadays are so much different than the ones that I'm used
Okay.
to in so many ways. I haven't really. The last one that I played that's a bit like that was Call of Duty Warzone when it was at the very beginning of Warzone. I had a couple of friends that played,
Okay.
and I got into the how's that jumping from the how do you call that mode,
No, Battle
the
Royale, yeah.
battle royale, and I thought it was quite nice actually. I played a few times. Thought it was quite nice. I also started to feel the addiction. I was like pushing myself away from it again, but the gameplay was fine. I think to me it doesn't feel too slow. It felt all right. The finals, I saw videos. I haven't obviously played the game. I've seen the videos. It's one of the games that looks good. A lot of these games, to me, from the outside, I haven't felt them, but I have seen them, and they seem very similar in the sense that it's very quick aim, like how do you call that, ACS,
Yeah.
or very very quick aiming, and then shooting. As for the movement, I don't know. Like the case of the finals, it sounds more. I guess I'm thinking while I'm talking. So I'm just speaking nonsense, but it's from a dev perspective. I would say it sounds more like they want to control the movement because the other stuff might create bugs or might create situations that they cannot. prepare for
Okay.
as easily. So if they give it a limit, then it's easier for them to make the maps,
I see. I see.
because they know where people can reach or not,
True.
or
True.
to
True.
calculate the spawns or the spawn times. Or I'm just guessing, but
True. True.
I'm definitely thinking that makes it easier for them. You know,
True.
I don't know. I don't know about the speed, because I think that from what I've seen about Quake Champions, games like this don't really appeal to a lot of people when it comes to really fast games. And I don't think Quake Champions is that fast. It doesn't look that fast in
It
video.
plays fast. It plays fast. It
It does.
doesn't. It doesn't look fast, but it plays fast if you play Quake Champions. And I think that's what you said about like it doesn't appeal to other or to many people. It's since because like I feel like that's what I wanted to say with this is that I feel like even that nowadays more people play games, but I feel like since more people play games but they are not so passionate about or willing to learn the mechanics of games and to be better at games, they just pick up and go to another game and go to another game. That's why like they are not willing to play with games like Quake Champions, because it's a hard game. Like you have to be quick, you have to be able to react to situations in a very fast paced way, and I think like it's not for everyone because of that fact. Like, and when in the old school era, I think that more games were like Quake Champions, where you had to have this skill in order to be able to react very fast. And nowadays, it's like way more slower games, in my opinion, at least.
Right. I mean, see, the thing is, because whenever I go online, I get my ass kicked. So I cannot. It's hard for me to think people are not skilled because they kick my ass. So,
No, they are
but
skilled. It's just I think that it's way less people are willing to obtain the skill or to grind for their skill to be better in games. It's
I
true
think
for
it's,
life as well, so it's not just for games. That could be another topic discussed. But if we
yeah,
talk
right.
about just games, I feel like a lot of people are just because it's like an entertaining media itself. It's for a lot of people who just trend gamers, which I call them. They're just like picking up games and go to another game, which is fine, of course, because it's their choice to make. It's just for me as a person who likes to grind and be better at games, it's weird to see
Right.
that, because if you have a hobby, I always thought that if somebody has a hobby, it comes with passion, but in fact it does not come with passion for a lot of people.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's there's two things about this. One thing is that yes, there's a lot more people that play games nowadays, but I don't think there's a lot more hobbies that play games, in the sense that that's what you said. They reach a lot more people, but I would say probably 30% of not gamers, but people who play games, they just play FIFA and Street Fighter. They
Yeah,
don't play
yeah,
anything else.
true, 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 true. I got your point and I agree. Yeah, 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 yeah.
They're not interested. It's
Yeah,
like when companies say we have X amount of gamers and two-thirds of that is mobile game.
true,
That's
true,
not.
true, true.
That's not
But
really
like I said,
the-
it's nothing wrong with that. It's just weird because like in the old school era of games, it's like it was like that, but not in such a high percentage. Like more
because it
people
hasn't.
were interested to try out new games and to be better at them, and it's weird to see that nowadays. It's like I don't know. It's weird. It's weird for me.
I think we're like with everything that goes mainstream. The thing is, at the beginning, everyone who is involved is their hobby or their main occupation or their passion, because it's a niche.
True.
And so the people who get into the niche first have to make the effort to get into it, then have to make the effort to learn. And once you're in, you're going to be passionate about it because you actually put work. It's not work, but you get
True.
that skill, and then you're like, oh, this is something I really like. I'm good at it, or whatever. Or you
True.
might
True.
not even
True.
be good at it, but be really passionate about it. But when it goes mainstream, what happens is that everyone has access to it, and yes, you're going to get a few new hobbyists. But I don't think the amount of hobbies grows as much. That happened with Dungeons and Dragons too, where I'm not a D&D player, but I noticed that a lot of D&D players were like, now it's mainstream, everyone plays online, they complain because people who play break the rules and whatever. Yeah, because they don't care as much as you do about the rules.
True.
They
True.
just
True.
like figuring out their role playing.
True.
That's about it.
True.
I think with gaming, the same thing happens, and now you get into the game budgets, and companies, there's no way they can do a game only for the actual hobbyists because it costs too much. And so they have shareholders and they have all this stuff they have to take care of,
True.
and they cannot do it. So the game has to appeal to as much people as possible. And
True. And it's understandable in one way. It's just for players like you and me, it's weird to see that a lot of players who are not into these games that much that we are.
right, it's just not good for
Yeah.
us. But
Yeah,
you know,
exactly. Yeah.
which we thought it was going to be good. I mean, you always think or tend to think that if it gets bigger, then budgets get bigger, games get better. But
True,
that's not
but it's not true at the end of the day. Yeah, yeah.
because now what you have is like $40 skins, and that's not a better game.
Yeah, and it's about like I'm always saying this, that the people who will care and who will buy the games, they are those people who are like passionate, like you said, about games. It's not the casuals. Like casual players will just be there for, I don't know, 1 or 2 years, and if they, for example, fail in the game, fail to have success or to be happy about the game, they will move on. But the passionate players will stay, and I think that a lot of like these very big companies forget this, in my opinion.
I'm not sure they know what they're doing, but at the same time, I'm not sure I know what's going on. And in the sense that
True.
because we're in the aficionado category, and we mix with ourselves, but we don't really know what all the other people who play games, what are they doing? What are they playing?
True.
I feel like I'm now seeing, for instance, that the Assassin's Creed is being talked down to, Concord is being talked down to, but when they come out, then is when we will see if they work out or not. Because people complain about Assassin's Creed every fucking year, and then every sells like 15 million games.
True. It shows that people care about the game, right? Even if they complain about it.
Or that,
Yeah.
Or that all the people, like the market that's out there, it's not in our community because
True.
we
Exactly.
are the hobbyists and aficionados, but those people
Yeah.
are not. They're just not in.
That's fake hate. I call it fake hate, since like if you see from another perspective, not just that it's hate, it really shows that hate does not have that much power that it shows for the first place. And I feel what you said about Concord, because I played the beta and the closed beta as well of Concord, and it's a really great FPS game, and I felt like it gave me the Destiny 1 vibes, when everything in Destiny 1 was like very how to say it, very simple and very skill oriented. And Concord, in my opinion, is very simple, with the characters really good, having really good balance, and the gunplay feels also very smooth and reactive for the inputs. And I felt like people are like, I don't know, the problem what you said is very true, and I agree with you on that. That a lot of players are just complaining but do not know what they want at the end of the day from games.
That's true too. Yeah.
So it's just sad, because at the end of the day, developers will like have to take a step back sometimes when they see so much hate, and that happened to a lot of companies. In fact, that if they saw so much hate on the internet, it influenced them to take step back or even to close companies. And it sucks, because like, even if I say that and I feel that this hate is not that much powerful, but it still is sometimes at some point.
It is, and to be honest, a lot of the time it's well deserved. I mean, these big companies are messing up our fucking passion. You know what I mean? It's like, to me, games are actually art, and the people who run these companies don't see it like that, and that's
True.
hard to get married to that opinion. You know what I mean? It's like I don't know. That's also why the indie scene is so pure in many ways. It's obviously you have greed inside it too, and all the bad stuff. But the proportion of, or not the proportion, but maybe what leads the scene is something different, which is making good games. Because once again, these games are more for people like us, which are in our community, which are not the people who are going to play Madden, or maybe they will too, but it's not, people who are more into the actual scene and have a different set of values for the games. I mean, there's a lot of stuff about new games that I don't understand, and it's just because either I'm too old, I've been too long away from multiplayer, or I don't know. I like, for instance, like the multiplayer thing, which is now the standard, which is like you have to release the game and keep making stuff for the game. And to me, it's like I played Quick 3, it never changed. And I played it for. I mean, I'm still playing it.
True, and
It's
we
been
still
25
had
years.
fun, right, with the same maps and same guns. Yeah, exactly.
I'm playing it.
Exactly.
But
Yeah, that's what
at
I'm
the
always saying, that it changed so much, and people now always have to get some new and fresh experience, which is not bad because I like new maps, new guns too. I changed the way the industry changed, but I get your point, and I agree with you that I remember myself as a kid playing Quake, and I remember also like Unreal Tournament, and they had the same maps over and over, and we had fun. Like
Yeah,
it was fun. We went to school also play on LAN, Quake 3, and it was fun. The same map again, and it was
yeah,
so people. What I think what people do not understand, that even if you are fighting for instance in an FPS multiplayer game with the same gun on the same map, the experience will never be the same. Like if you are even if you are playing against the same people,
yeah,
because in
yeah.
every match it can change, and I think that that's the lack of appreciation on the player side, I think.
It's part of what you said before is that people get. I don't know how you said it, but you said something like people are more comfortable now or get bored easier.
True.
And I think, for instance, Quake or Wolfenstein or that kind of game, they had these mechanics that were so tight, so simple
True.
that you could easily get run around and play,
True.
but it was the actual skill ceiling was so high,
True.
and it was very simple mechanics. It's like four directions and jump, and just and crouch. There's not a lot more than that, and aim.
True.
But I don't know. That was good for 10 years for us. So I don't understand why people need it. It's not good even for 10 days. Like games come out,
True.
like, where's my DLC? I'm like,
True. True. True.
if it's
True.
good, why do you need DLC? You
True,
know?
true. I agree.
Oh,
I agree.
no, that,
It changed a lot. It changed a lot, and it changed very fast. And I feel like, yeah, it's all combined together. These problems, in one way that it's really about like people are not being that much passionate about games, like you or me. And
yeah.
it's sad because it's not just you cannot have a good conversation with players like that who are so close-minded about games and not willing to pick up games and learn them and also love them with a great passion, but it's also like killing the industry in some ways, in my
In
opinion.
some ways, yeah.
So
I mean, we talk about first-person shooters nowadays. What I see, and I don't play most of them because they're multiplayer. Like I was saying that on Twitter the other day. Is like in the last 2 years, how many first-person single-player games have we seen? I don't think any.
there
I can
was
remember.
there was some of them,
There's-
but not that much. Yeah.
Like I'm talking AAA. I'm not talking
Oh,
indies.
AAA. Yeah.
No, indies. I
Back then
mean,
there was a lot. I remember Killzone series; they were great ones.
that was good.
Resistance series on PlayStation, also Halo series.
Yeah.
So there were a lot of them. But yeah, right now it's
Even,
not that much. Yeah,
even if you go 3, 4 years ago, they were still making first-person shooters. I mean, I don't know, Metro Exodus if you want, or
true.
I don't know. There are games, but it's less and less, and now they're mostly multiplayer. And when I see them from a viewer's perspective, which is not a player's perspective, which I understand is not the same, but they look all very similar. And maybe that has to do with what you said. It's people jump from game to game and they expect to know how to play the next game too.
True.
And
And
all
it's
of
the
them,
safe play for big companies. Like they are not
yeah.
willing to risk to make something very fresh because they're afraid that people will like dislike it at the end of the day.
They just don't know if it's gonna work, and if they don't know, they rather go safe and
Safe, yeah, exactly. It's not that I'm judging these very big companies, because like I said, I play with a lot of games, and I even play AAA games myself, and I love them. It's just I feel like what you said is very true, that back like 5 or 10 years ago we had all these crazy ideas being made by AAA studios, and now it's more of like the work of indie developers. And
yeah.
if you take a look at the all these AAA studios, they are like very much of like you said, and I said the same, that they are going in the safe mode, not to not to risk that people won't like it. And it's true, because if you mentioned the game Concord, it's a very refreshing experience, but a lot of people are disliking it, so it's understandable that developers are like that. So they're saying at the end of the day that, okay, why should we make a very refreshing experience if people won't like it? And I can see that point and understand that point too. So yeah.
Right. I mean, if you think about AAAs, just think about Titanfall 2.
True.
I mean, that single player game, that's amazing. But at the
True.
same time, well, it's 2 hours and a half, and it probably cost as much as the next Call of Duty. So who's going to support that?
True.
I would as a player because I love it, but
True.
who's going to finance that? I mean, it's hard, and it was hard because it didn't sell well for them too. So
True. And that's why they ended up making Apex Legends and not
right. But I mean,
Titanfall 3. But they still, if I'm not sure if you know that, but I think that company Respawn Entertainment is still doing Titanfall 3, if I'm correct about it. Yeah, they are. There was some news about it. I'm not sure if it was fake news or real news, but there was something about that they are making Titanfall 3. So I think that they are aware of it. I feel like it's not the problem of it's not so not the AAA studios are to judge, but it's more of a players, and they are like pushed away from their creative and refreshing ideas to make. So I feel like these developers are like nowadays are making this safe place, and there will be an era again when they grow enough with their financial state that they can go back to make these very weird and crazy ideas, or to go back to their older franchises, like you mentioned. And I said that Titanfall 3 is probably in the making, and I feel like Titanfall 2 had a great multiplayer aspect. It was very refreshing. So like you could use those titans, you can run around on walls as well, so it was very fast as well, and people loved it. I remember I still know people who play Titanfall 2, and it's very weird to see that a lot of these players who play Apex Legends, they don't even know what guns they use, what maps they are, what universe they are in, and it's all Titanfall. Don't even know about it, so it's weird to see that.
Apex nowadays, I'm guessing, is more like a Fortnite kind of thing,
True.
I played it at the beginning, and it was good. It was so fast.
True.
So fast. I mean, there's this mechanic where you slide too, which I think Call of Duty has it now too. But at the beginning, I'd never seen that. It was also the beginning of
Fortnite changed a lot, and I think Fortnite is a great example for what we were talking about. That Epic Games is really aware of how they can make a game that appeals to everyone, because I think that it's a problem, or it's people say it's a fact that you cannot make a craft that will appeal or will be liked by everyone. But Epic Games changed on that perspective, if you can think about that, because there were so many people who disliked Fortnite, and they now love it because of the skins or the new gameplay elements or the collaborations, or the Lego Fortnite mode or the racing mode. So yeah.
I mean, it's definitely a success story. It's
true.
I mean, it's amazing. Not necessarily my kind of game, but I mean, like, I'm in Spain, you're in your country, and all the kids in our, down the street know what Fortnite is. They all know.
And even their parents, right? Even their parents play and know about it. So
right.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's not what I wish games were, but it is what it is. At least it's free.
True.
You know what I mean? That's one good thing you could say about it. And I'm sure it has a lot of good stuff. I'm not. Just because it's not for me, I don't mean to say it's a bad game, because it's a very good game. Otherwise, it wouldn't have so many players.
True.
And I just wish they wouldn't do the whole. It's now it's a universe, and now it's everything, because I see now Call of Duty is starting to do that.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to say. It's not about like being the problem that the game is very successful. It's the problem with a lot of companies would like to do that in a very similar way, right? And they are not willing to risk, like we talked about it, to make their own ideas and to stand out. Yeah.
And Fortnite, we have to understand that I think part of the success is that it did not start trying to be this.
True. It was the Save the World experience with 4-player co-op tower defense TPS game. Yeah.
So they saw the light, they changed it, they polished it, and it became what it is. But it was not made to be a cash cow. It was not made to be get all your money. It
True.
just become that
True.
because,
True. True. True.
and
True.
even then, from what I hear, from all these free to play kind of sell you skins games, it seems to be one of the most safe for the kids, and they're not doing
True.
tricky
It's true.
stuff.
It's true. Yeah.
That's what I hear. I don't play it, but
True.
you know.
It's
So
it's
that's
it's funny because I remember myself not willing to buy skins in any games, but when I started Fortnite and I got really into it with my friends, I bought skins and I was like, okay, this very weird. This is very weird, and it's working for Epic Games, right? So
it's definitely working for them,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
And Unreal Engine is working for them. I mean, that's
True, true, true.
I'm thinking about that all the time. Should I switch? Should I switch? Should I switch? And I probably should. I probably shouldn't. I don't know, because I learned a lot of Unity now, and an engine. I mean, I learned a lot of software in my
Okay.
46 years, And dude, I never tried anything like learning Unity. I mean, it's insane. I mean, it's so ample and so complicated. I mean,
Maybe your next game, right? In Unreal Engine.
that's the thing. I mean, but that's what I'm saying. I learn the quirks of Unity, and it's taken me 3 years. You know what I mean? And I still have so much to learn of Unity now. Okay, let's say I go and try to make a game in Unreal, and a month in, something's going to happen that's going to destroy my game.
True, true, true.
And
It's
I'm
rather
going to have
better
no
to
idea
stick
what
to
it is.
Unity now for you, yeah.
I'm going to have no idea what's going
True,
on.
true,
If that happens in Unity, I know exactly what's going on. I
true,
know how to
true,
fix it.
true.
'Cause I've been battling this thing for 3 years now. So it's not an easy decision. Now, I know Unity is not a good place, and
I
it
mean, there are a
doesn't.
lot of successful games out there that have been made in Unity. I
Oh,
think
yeah,
that if you stick to the engine that you started with, and you can learn it in a very high skill level, then you will be able to make good games with Unity. So
oh yeah.
Unity is a
I,
great engine in my opinion. It's just it has like restrictions which probably Unreal Engine do not have, or not that
right. I mean, if
much.
you're trying to do high fidelity, it's probably not the best decision. It
True,
doesn't
true,
mean
true.
that it cannot do it, but it just doesn't run as well. But also, Unreal it doesn't run very well with open worlds. I
True,
mean,
exactly. Yeah, yeah. It has their own problems as well. Yeah,
yeah.
exactly.
So, like right now, we're having the shader compilation issues, which are really big because
True.
they destroy your first playthrough, and that's. I mean, most people are only going to play your game once, so you don't really want to do that,
True, true, true,
And
true.
it seems like the stars in open world games are still not being solved. However, you can make an environment that's like 10 kilometers by 10 kilometers in like 2 minutes because Unreal does it for you now.
True,
You
true,
give it the models, you give it a little bit of geometry for the terrain, and
true.
it will do it for you. And you move one plant, and it will move all the plants around it to make it nice. So it's like, okay, it's definitely interesting. The animation rigs are really good. It seems like it. There's a lot of things that are really good on Unreal. It's just that should I wait maybe to the next game? Should I
I
maybe
think
make
that,
another?
yeah. In my opinion, yeah. Because
I
like
also
you
like
said, it can cause a lot of problems for you if you change the engine.
it's that thing once again that every problem is going to be new, and a
True.
new problem in a game engine it can be really easy to fix, or it can be really hard to fix, or it can be something that you Google and it never happened to anyone, and you're like, well,
What should I
what
do
do I
now?
do?
Yeah.
And sometimes it takes weeks to get rid of this problem. And
True, true, true.
I already gone through all of that, and the good thing about Unreal is that it has more info and more people using it. So, maybe not. I don't know. I don't know about that actually, because there's
I
a lot
know a
of
lot of
people.
companies who are using Unity, by the way, and a lot of indie devs. So,
Right.
yeah.
And even
But
Godot, I
I'm
think
not sure about the statistics either, yeah.
I thought a lot about Godot too, and I think about GZ Doom. I love GZ Doom. I mean, I've been making Doom maps this last year,
Okay.
and I love it so much. I mean, that building like level design on Doom is the most amazing thing I've ever done when it comes to level design. I mean, it just sparks my creativity like nothing else because you're basically just drawing stuff, and so I just sit there and draw it and give it a height, and then I go into 3D mode. I'm like, oh, this is good. And in 3D mode, you can add in the heights and the
Yeah.
shapes. And it's like, wow, this is so. It's just very creative. It's a very nice process. I cannot do that in Unity. I haven't found a way to do it this way.
I see.
I've been exporting map from GZDoom to Blender and from Blender to Unity, and it's quite possible that my next game I'm gonna do it like that. I'm just gonna map it in GZDoom.
I see. So what was the hardest part about like making your own game, the process of making it?
Learning to code. I
Okay.
I always said I hate code. I don't want to learn blah blah. And I didn't think I would have to do it when I started. When I got the idea that I'm gonna make a game, I didn't think I'm gonna have to learn how to code. But it's yeah, I like it now. I don't love it like it's not my passion, but I do like it. It's very fun to understand the logic, and it's very fun to fix the problems. When
I
you
see.
find the solutions, it's very satisfying. It's like Dark Souls game, you know what I mean? It's like
Yeah.
it's a really hard thing, and you just
True, true,
smack,
true.
smacking your head against the wall, and you can't do
That's a
it.
good
And when you
reference, by the way.
yeah, but when you find the solution, it's like wow, I'm
Boss is
so
defeated. Soul is
I
yours.
and so that's a very nice aspect of it, but it's obviously pretty hard.
I
I
see.
have a good I have a good I've a younger cousin which is a professional programmer, and that
Okay.
helps me because if I have some doubts, I can always
Ask
ask
him.
him, or and the first time I told him, he rushed to teach me a few things, or you organize things like that, like because he likes to be to teach too. So and that was nice. And yeah, I think that's definitely the hardest thing because a lot of the things I already knew how to do. I knew Blender. I'm not a super modeler, but I can use it. I can do animation in Blender. Not an animator, but I can move a camera. I watch movies. I can do a few good shots. You know what I mean? I know photography. I know music, so I can make the music for the game. I've done a lot of stuff in my time because as I said at the beginning, I jump from thing to thing, and so you know, a lot of things I was ready for, so to speak. I just needed to learn how to do it and
It's
how to
like
do it.
you were always prepared for this stage of your life, right? To make games. You
I
picked
kind
up
of
all
was.
the skills from different territories in order to, be there
Yeah,
at your point of the life where you will make games.
I think in a way it was like that. Yeah,
Yeah, like even if it wasn't intentional, but you did that. Yeah.
it worked out. I mean, as I said at the beginning too, I used to make levels in. I made levels for AT and for any territory, and they're still out there. I mean, people still play it now and then. And
Nice, 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 nice.
I have a Quake 3 level. I made two more, but I lost those. I was making a Doom 3 first person level, and I had the whole thing done, but that's when I was saying I'm never going to learn scripting. So I did the first.
It
Yeah,
changed, right? You say
it did
you
change,
never
but
should say that never. Yeah.
yeah, I'll never say that again. But but at the time, it was like I was just copying code to make my events happen because it was a horror map. It was a single
Okay.
player horror map, and I had some bugs that I couldn't fix, and I couldn't. I mean, when you're just copying code, I just couldn't fix it. I never published it, but
True.
I always knew I liked to do this. I don't know. I guess I never took myself seriously when it came to it. Always doing something else. I don't know.
I see. Okay. So, as being a game developer yourself, what do you think of like what skills have you picked up into your real life, not just making games, but in other territories of your life, and also how have you changed as a person in the everyday life, like as a person, not a game dev, if you can separate these two things. So how have you changed as a person in other fields of your life
You
from
mean
being a game dev? How it helped you in everyday life?
in some ways it helped me with organizational skills
Okay.
because it's a big project, so I have to
Okay.
learn to make some schemes or maps or like not necessarily a roadmap, but you do need some organizational skills when it comes to what to do when,
Okay.
and you also need a lot of patience because, as I said, in 3 years you might be like, imagine I wanted to do cutscenes from day one. Well, I don't get to do cutscenes until in 3 years now. So So you have to wait 3 years until you can get to the cutscenes, and it all goes like that. I think that's one thing I learned, and that helps me. I think learning to code also helps me tidy my brain in some ways.
Okay.
Learning the logic of things. Because if you think about it, coding and making music and illustrating, it's not super different in the way that the process starts always with a sketch and then you work on it. It's like if you're doing a sculpture. I used to, when I went to art school, I was doing, sculptures with clay, and
True.
you start with a ball, and
True.
then
True.
you
True.
want to make a face, you start poking holes and making shapes, and in the end, when you do an illustration with Photoshop the way I do it, which is digital only, then I start with a render or with photos, and I start doing stuff on top of it, and I paint on top of it.
True.
I make more layers, and in the end, I think the whole thing is the creative process is very similar. When I make a song or when I'm producing a song, I make a very simple drum and I make a simple melody, and then I start making it more complex. And I feel like the process is always the same with everything. And you can extrapolate that to also non-creative stuff like relationships and any other kind of stuff. You have to start slow, and that maybe like maybe makes me not be overhyped for stuff, but I'm very, I don't know. I like to think I'm very realistic
Okay.
in my way to think. Some people would say you're pessimistic. Well, if you're very optimistic, I might look pessimistic, but I think I try to look at all the options and I try to find not the middle ground because it's the middle ground, but I try to find the good in every option, maybe, or you know what I mean.
I see the balance. Yeah.
Right.
Okay. I see. So we talked about the illustrations part, the gameplay part, the music part of the game, but what about the story? So when it comes to the story, do you feel that it's also a skill that you have picked up during making your game, or you were to make stories and write stories before you started making your own game?
No, I never wrote stories, and
Okay.
I don't think I'm very good at it. I That's probably why I made the game story a bit silly,
Okay.
because I feel like I can always be silly and it doesn't have to make a lot of sense.
And it's you, right? So it's a story. It's your story. We
It's
should
still
say,
me because
yeah.
I don't take myself very seriously in the end. So it's kind of that kind of thing that instead of, yeah, I mean, I don't know, I could have made it serious and be like, you're the son of a Jewish person who came out of the concentration camp and now you want to kill the Nazis. No, but why don't I make it that you're I don't
At
know,
the
like
end
a
of the day,
poor.
you just wanted to players to have fun, right? So, and it's
Yeah, but I
part
mean,
of the fun.
right, and I wanted the premise of the game to be silly enough so that people understand that this is not a story-driven game. It's not a political game. It doesn't matter if you're killing Nazis. I'm not trying to make a political statement. I'm
I
just
see.
saying this time of history was what it was. We always like to, it's always good fun to kill Nazis because everyone knows it's good fun. I mean, who doesn't love killing some Nazis, right? But it's not a nowadays political thing. It's just like a Wolfenstein kind of killing Nazis. Like Nazi zombies, Nazi aliens, Nazi. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah, a lot of games picked up that
more
topic to have it. Yeah.
like I'm more into Lord of the Rings than you know what I mean. It's like it's a fantasy thing. It's like we go out, we now are soldiers, and we're now killing Nazis. We're not. I'm not really a soldier. I'm not trying to kill anyone. So. But the premise of you lost that they steal your dog and now you want to kill them because they stole your dog, not because they're bad people, which they are, but no, you want to kill them because they got your dog, which is I think it's like the whole it's
The
silly.
revenge story, like in
Yeah, but it's not.
what's the movie called? Like with Keanu Reeves. You know that movie, probably. It has the
I
same story that somebody took his
oh you
dog.
mean the
Uh,
new one,
yeah, I cannot recall the name of the movie
right?
series.
And,
Yeah,
I should watch one of them.
yeah. I watched the trilogy of it, but I can't recall the name. But sure, somebody on the chat will remember the name of that movie. We can ask help from them. But yeah, nice.
But yeah, I don't think I'm good at writing, but I do try to get better. I mean,
Okay.
I make dialogues and I pass them through people. Also, definitely mention to Jake the voice part, which is my cohort in this. It's not that he's not doing the game; he's doing all the voices, and
Okay.
not only he's also managed all the voice acting in the game. I haven't contacted any voice actors. He contacted me, and I told him, look, this is gonna be a free game on PC. I have zero budget. He's like, hey, I don't mind. I'm wishing to do it pro bono, and he not only did that, but he found all the other actors, and he got the voice acting to me. And so, I mean, he's been pretty much the voice manager, not only the voice actor. He narrated the intro too with a whole different voice. You cannot even tell it's him. It's the same guy, but you cannot tell. And so, like, real props to him and shout out because
Nice.
it's good help, and it's also very because he's partly involved. I know he's when he sees the game, he's also interested in it being good. So when I get his criticism, I know it's
It's like a
from someone
push for him to be
who
better
he
at what
wants it
he's
to be
making.
good because he wants to look good in it.
Yeah.
So it's good criticism to have too.
I see.
So it's very nice. It's I think a very good relationship came out of
Nice,
this.
nice. It matters at the end of the day. Yeah, to have those. Yeah. And
And he helps me. I got to that because he edits the dialogues a
oh, I
lot of
see.
time.
I see. I see. I see.
Helps me with the writing. I write the first dialogue and story, and then he goes over, and sometimes maybe because he thinks that his voice may be better saying this, or maybe because he has a story, he's half the personality of the character. He made it because he changed.
So it's you and him. We could
Yes,
say. Yeah.
yes.
Okay. Okay. So you mentioned that your game will be free, but why have you chose that option to be free? I mean, you put so much work into your game, into your craft, and why not sell it for money? What's the
At
idea
this
behind
point,
that?
I think I'm just being stupid a lot of the time. I should probably say it, but look, I started when I didn't know anything. I put it up thinking it was going to be smaller, thinking it was going to be
Yeah, but
crappier.
that's the case. That's what I'm asking. That it got bigger, and you put so much
Right.
passion. And
When I put it up, I said it was going to be free, and I thought it was better to stick with it and keep it free. Now I do have a publisher, Dolores Entertainment, which some guys they're from here, from my country too.
okay, okay.
And I've met them, which they're going to do the ports to consoles, and that's not going to be free because first of all they have
I'm
to.
happy that your game will be released on console.
Yeah,
That's what I wanted to ask, but you answered in
yeah,
forward.
will be on PS5 and
Nice,
Xbox.
love that, love that. Are you planning to
And
release physical versions of the game as well, or
they
you don't
are,
know
but
yet?
not. I don't think they're going to be in the Western market. It's going to be in Asia because for whatever reason they have a lot of market in Asia. These guys, and I think the physical copies are settled, but I don't think it's going to be here. I mean, if I don't know how it's going to go. I don't know if you can
I
order
will have
one.
to buy one from you then. I can see that.
I don't know how it's gonna go. To be honest, that's something that they have to say. I don't. It's the first time I make a game, so let alone me knowing how publishing is gonna go. I have no idea.
Was it hard to find the right publisher for you to have your own freedom of being creative?
Not really. No, to be honest, they're not the same people that came to me.
Okay,
I had a couple bigger publishers come
okay.
to me. They were not okay with the game being free, and I totally understand that. And that's the first thing I said to them. And once again, I think I'm probably being stupid, but I just decided to stick to my word, and so that's what I'm gonna do.
No, it's not being stupid. It's just you love your craft and you want people to be happy with it, right? So it's not a bad thing in my
Yeah,
opinion.
to be honest, if it was me, I would do everything I do for free. I don't think culture should be paid for, but at the same time, I'm not able to even pay the rent a lot of the month. So I'm like,
So
I
it's
should
like a
probably,
must thing to have like some money for it, right? If you were,
yeah,
but I got your point, and I totally respect your point, and I agree with you that if we would be living in a very like perfect society and perfect world, then all these games could be out there for free, and people would, get the money from example from the government, and they could
Yeah,
work on their craft, being able to, express their own thoughts and experience, and then their silly side, like you told us that you are more willing to, create these silly and weird, but in a good way, weird stories, which are great to experience at the end of the day. And I feel like it's very true, and I totally respect your choice of doing that.
yeah. I mean, in my ideal world, all culture is free.
True,
You
true,
know,
true, true, true.
and because I think it's, I don't know how to say it in
Money
English, but
kills.
it's,
Money kills like people being creative, right?
what's that again?
Money kills like being creative. I
It
would
does in a
say,
way, yeah, because it
not in
does.
every
You
way,
know,
but in some way, I guess.
it does not if you get the money afterwards, but when if you're doing it for the money, then definitely does.
Yeah,
That's at least my perspective. It doesn't mean that everything that's done with the money up front or in front is bad. I
yeah, because
mean,
it can be like a good push for you, right? If you are
right.
willing to, be it or have it like a motivation level.
See, the thing is, I'm going to do it regardless if I can. I mean, unless I'm living under a bridge, I'm still going to be doing creative stuff. So if I could give it for free all the time, I would do it. Most of my music I've given for free. My bands, when we make albums, a lot of times the online versions might go for free. Sometimes they don't, but because you have to pay for, like, my band.
Merchandise, yeah.
Yeah, we do merchandise because you have to, and because at the end it's like with a band, it's the same with the game, but it's much smaller. But just to record this album, we spent $6,000. You're like 6,000? Yeah, because you have to pay the studio, you have to pay the rehearsal room, you have to pay the techniques, you have to pay the mastering, you have to pay the instruments, you have to.
Yeah, a lot of people are just not understanding the process and the costs of doing any
Yeah,
craft. Yeah,
you have to pay for the albums, you have to pay for the
true,
CD.
true. The cover as well, all the
Oh,
merchandise as well to make. Yeah, yeah,
right. So all these things take a lot of time and money, and as I said, ideally I would make it for free, so long as I could live, not being not being poor. But it's not how it goes. So
true, true.
I'm thinking definitely that the game will still be free in PC, but I'm trying to think about what I can do to add to it. Like I'm thinking maybe definitely sell the soundtrack, maybe do some merch. Like
DLCs, right? You will have to change on your perspective and be able to or willing to, add DLCs.
that's exactly the thing that I'm thinking. I could do a survival mode, but I don't even think if it's in my
Okay.
ethics. You know what I mean? Like if I did a survival mode, why wouldn't it be in the game? Like I think about it.
I got you. I got you
I'm
with that.
like, why would I take it out of the game and then sell it for $5? Because I need the money. But ideally, once again, in a perfect world, why would you do that? If you would do that, it would be in the game because it's part of the game. You wouldn't sell it
Yeah,
aside.
but I mean, I totally understand if people make like games in like versions and they are adding something to the game. It's for me, I don't think it's that much of a problem. But I also got your point since I started playing video games when I was a kid, and I remember all those games that were finished. And I was talking about it a lot. That I feel like the problem comes from the fact that nowadays it's the power of the internet, right? And the games can be updated. Back then, I remember in the PlayStation 1 and PlayStation 2, and also in the at the very first year of PlayStation 3 era, developers could not update their game discs. Like there
Right.
was no option for that. You had to buy the disc in the video game market, and then you had the full game, and there was nothing more. Like
And that's good and bad. It's bad for
yeah, true,
developers
true,
because
true,
they
true.
want to play the game, but it's also very bad for players because, and it's, I think the fact that developers maybe get lazier because you can
Yeah,
fix the
yeah,
game
yeah, yeah.
is only a small part. To me, the worst part is the whole
It's not even
always.
just laziness. I think it's like more comfortable, for them. And if they are
Even I,
breaking a lot of years on making a game, it's more comfortable, just release in an early stage and then to add things, which understandable. So I don't judge them, and I don't say it's a good or sorry, I don't say it's a bad thing. But at the end of the day, I also feel like for me, for example, there was a game called Father Forgive Me, if I'm correct about it. It's an
Or
indie FPS game, and it has a second part, second sequel. And it's also a great game. And I remember the first, I'm not sure if the first game released with a final form, but I know that the second part came with like an early access version, and they instantly updated it with like new story elements, new maps, new guns, new enemies as well. But it was weird to see that the story oriented game comes with like not with a final form. It's still weird for me, because I think what causes us to experience that it's still weird, even if we are not judging it, is that we had that era where we could see games being totally finished, and we have that comparison level, and I think that if we would grow up in this era of playing video games, we could not compare with something, and we had
well,
a totally new perspective on that, and not, yeah.
yeah, yeah. I, I don't think it's a bad thing at all. The thing is, yeah, when I because it's like an Ouroboros, it's like a serpent that eats its own tail, in the sense that, in the same way that it's very good for developers and it can be very good for players, it's very bad for developers and it's very bad for players, because
True.
you don't get the same kind of things you used to get. I mean, like, for instance, when we talk about DLC, my idea of DLC is like Elden Ring kind of DLC. I don't contemplate, like, like, let's make a new uniform for the player kind of DLC. This is not, to me, it's like, I don't accept it. It doesn't mean that I judge indie studios for doing that. I understand that you have to finance yourself. But I will judge AAA studios and AA studios for doing that, because I don't think it's necessary at all. I mean, and if it is, then you have to figure out a new business model. This is not working, man. If you need to sell me $40 skin, you need to figure out a new way to do things, because this is not working. Personally, I think they spend a lot too much money. I mean, it does seem so. I mean, I'm definitely not an expert, but it does seem like a lot of the problem we have now is that they need to spend too much money to make too good or too high fidelity graphics that no one really. I mean, Elden Ring tells you no one needs the high fidelity.
True.
And it has great graphics, it has great design, but it's definitely not last gen, not new gen. It's like
True, 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 true.
totally
Exactly, and
last
people
gen.
still love it, and it's a hardcore game. And that
No,
that that's what's very interesting about it. That what you said is that Elden Ring proves that people do respect hardcore games, and they are willing to sacrifice their time to learn a game. It's just
yeah,
it has to be very like refreshing experience, and if it is,
yeah,
it works. Like, I'm not saying Elden Ring has not been being made by the developers who had these games before, because Elden Ring had picked up a lot of solutions from past From Software games, but it's still like it was a refreshing experience with the whole big open world type of method of the gameplay, and the environment, and also the story is like so rich with the lore that you have experienced for yourself, this environmental storytelling method that they are using. So yeah, I think that you're very right about it. That's yeah.
I just don't think we need that. I mean, because I'm a visual person, I do visual art, so I obviously like the pretty stuff like everyone else. It's just that when I look at the costs, even if you look at graphics cards, how much 970 would used to cost, it was an insane card at the time, and now you have to pay $2,000 for a 40. I'm not paying $2,000 for a card, dude. It's not worth for me. I mean, and I'm deving, but I think if to run Cyberpunk with the overdrive kind of ray tracing at 60 FPS, I need to spend 2,000. I'm not doing that, dude. It's not worth it. I feel like it's not that the advance is bad. Obviously, if we get better graphics, then all the better. But we need to understand what the cost of that is. If the cost is with all the prices, then it might just not be worth it. I think that when
True.
it comes to game developing, they kind of go with the same kind of thing. Whereas, like, I look at Alan Wake 2 and the graphics are insane, but then the game doesn't sell enough, and it's like, well, you might have spent 300 million less, and you wouldn't have needed these 3 million sales. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't know. Tip the scales a different
I
way.
agree with you on one point, but I feel like there are games which need that graphical level that they are using. So, for example, like The Last of Us or Alan Wake, I could not think of like any other form of graphics for those games. But I totally agree with you on that side that graphical side of games should not matter that much to players because I feel like it's like it's the same that most of us or even probably every one of us are judging others by their looks, even if they are saying they do not do that, but at the end of the day they do. It's like
Right.
if first you see someone, you will judge by the look, and after that you will judge by the person itself. Everyone
Mhm.
does that, even if they are lying to us that they don't. But I feel like it's pretty much the same for games as well. If we experience the high level quality of graphics, we will be able to judge by that perspective. And I think that goes back to what we discussed earlier, that if since we and you, so me and you had the experience of graphics being with today's eyes being bad or worse, we can
Yeah.
appreciate those times, and that's why we can compare it and say, okay, we played those games, they were awesome and at that time, so we shouldn't say that games with I don't know, less graphical quality is that bad. But on the other hand, I say like graphical high quality level graphics should be a thing for just some games that need those levels or high quality, like I mentioned Last of Us and Alan Wake 2. Yeah.
I mean, I've been obsessed with Last of Us. I've never had a PlayStation since PlayStation 2. I've never been able to play Last of Us. I played it this year,
I see.
and I love this game so much. I
Sure.
mean, I was obsessed when it came out. I've seen it so many times. I always wanted to play it. I finally got it. I finally played it. It's one of my favorite experiences ever. I
It's not
mean,
just
and
a game, right? It's more of an experience, like
to
it's
me,
yeah.
it's not much of a game, as it's not that it's not a game, but I played it in easy. I don't want to repeat anything. I just want to see the story
The
and
story, yeah.
and see the relationship between the characters and how it
Yeah.
ends. Because it's so interesting and so well done. And I do agree that the graphics definitely play a
A
good
huge part,
role
yeah.
there because you're like, oh, this is so real.
And
Like I'm
natural, right? It's
right.
natural, like everything seems perfect there, like we would live in
Every,
that world, like it's our world right now
like
to
you
play.
think everything that should be there is there, and it looks like it should be, and it's
True,
like
true, true,
it's
true.
amazing. But that's only one kind of game.
True,
I'll give
true.
you I'll give you a completely different example. Like Resident Evil 4, with the original had what we call today bad graphics, and the new one it has amazing graphics. But the amazing graphics one, it broke them. The amazing graphics broke the mechanics because
True.
now every single box has a yellow strip of paint. Why? Because the graphics are so good, you cannot tell what are items and what are not
True,
items.
true, true, true. Like
I don't
it's
know.
like the feeling that it doesn't belong there, right?
Right. I don't
Yeah.
always need these kind of graphics because
True, true, true,
they affect the gameplay. It's
true.
like the old Tomb
And not
Raider
just the
game.
gameplay, the overall experience. It's I remember not just for saying for games, but I remember when I was watching the second part of Hobbit in IMAX. Was it IMAX HDR, if I'm correct? So it was like high quality graphical version of the Hobbit second part in theaters. And
Okay.
I remember that since they use like CGI and also like real humans as actors, I remember that CGI was so high quality that it's like I felt like the real human beings were like in the movie and the CGI like came to life, but they were like two separate things in a way, if you understand what I mean. And it same goes to Resident Evil 4. Like it's like some boxes like might should not belong to the environment with the eyes of if you take a very strict look at the game.
Right. I mean, mm, like my point is, good graphics are awesome for some projects, but for some projects they obfuscate. what could be the gameplay. Like
True.
if because you're like it depends on the game. If you're doing a shooter, who cares if you have I don't care if you have to signal to every item in the game. I probably just want to get the item. In my game I have like circles under the items because people just want to go and get the item. It's like Quake mentality. But if I'm playing Resident Evil, for instance, where I like to look for stuff and be immersed and stuff, I don't need you to give me where all the items are. It's like I love Resident Evil 7, but if you're gonna tell me every cupboard that I can open or every I would rather, if possible, go myself through that kitchen and try to open everything that's there. But there's so many stuff that you could possibly think that's an item because the graphics are so good that it takes away from the experience. So
True.
I think it is good that it's there and it's definitely serve a purpose. And I definitely love it when it's really good because I like pretty stuff. But I would be happy also if devs thought about how it affects your game
True.
because sometimes it makes things worse.
True. True.
Like
True.
like the like another example is the old Tomb Raiders and the new Tomb Raiders. Like the old Tomb Raiders, like yeah, it's everything is cubes, but you know where to jump. I know exactly where I need to stand, to run and jump and get that jump done. The new ones don't even have that many jumps because they don't have that good a mechanic. And it's like, yeah, it's all cubes. What I don't care. I don't care it's cubes if the game is fun. You know what I mean?
True.
But a lot of that, I think, and you're right with that, is that players' perspective, especially newer players, don't see it that way, and companies know that because what did I see the other day? People were saying this new game looks really bad. I think it was the Star Wars Outlaws, and I'm like,
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. I remember that people were
it
complaining.
looks like, it looks like a movie. I mean,
Yeah. Exactly.
in which way does this look bad? It seems impossible that someone would say that to me. It's like it looks great. I mean, it looks
True,
amazing to
true,
me.
true, true, true. That's when it came to an opinion of mine that I said before that people are like willing to complain but do not understand what they would like to see in games, right? So they have opinion and they are saying. I'm always joking with this meme of from Hungary that there was a meme that somebody asked a person that what they want, that they say that let's dance or have dance. It's like the same meme, legyen tánc. It's a Hungarian meme. It's like the same for players that okay, if you would or I would ask some players what would you like to see in a game and what makes a game good for you, that a lot of players would not know anything about it because they will say
Yeah,
okay, let's get a good game, but what is a good game for you, like what matters for you? And I feel like that's the problem, that the people can be very judgy, not just because I'm always saying it, that most of the people are very judgy in every territory, not just in games, because they
yeah,
have real life issues and they put their real life issues to the table when they are experiencing any forms of art or media and they are
yeah,
consuming it. That's the main reason. The other reason that they do not understand it. And when I started this dev live show of mine, that was the main goal with it, that for the players to see the actual human beings making games, because I feel like there are real problems when it comes to this topic that we discussed about. It's that a lot of players are willing to think that it's just one click, and the game is done. It's not. Like, it's actual human beings who have problems, maybe like you and me and everyone. Like, it's like, and people have to understand this, that it's not just one click or AI making it. Like, we are living in an AI world now, and yeah.
yeah. Especially with small teams, and the smaller it gets, the more complicated it is for the people to make
True.
them. But at the same time, we're so many solo devs nowadays, which tells you how easy it is. Like it's not as easy as I thought it was gonna be, but it's definitely very easy because we're so many. I mean, and some of the games, the solo games that come are very very competent. I mean, I feel like my game is not as good as some of the stuff I see out there. It's like, oh, this is really good, man. Or there's like Painted in Blood, I think it is. When this guy came out not long ago,
Okay.
he's also a concept artist, and just he's an artist like me, so we connected a little bit on that. But I'm like, wow, this is so good, this game, man. And it's his first game too, and it's like, it's a new era, and it's very good. It's also very bad, and I think what's good about it, what's best about it, is that we now have a huge indie scene, and as players we can choose what to play, and there's so much offer,
True.
so much offer. Like like my most played game this last month is Exanima, and most people don't even know it exists, you know. And the most played game this year has been Chronicles of Murtana, which is not even a game; it's a mod from for Gothic 2, you know.
Nice.
And I played this for 150 hours, and you know. So there's so many games and so many good games, so many good projects. I'm looking forward to Fallout London and that kind of mods too. I mean, it's never ending. Now, when it comes to AAA gaming, I think it's, in my opinion, nowadays really bad for everyone. But it's clearly working because obviously the vast majority of people who play games are doing that and are playing those games. So
True.
it worked for them. So as there's not a lot I think we can do from our perspective other than try to get what we want as better as possible. And that's, I think, going through the indie scene because I don't know. It's,
True.
I guess it depends on everyone, you know, how you look at it. But for me, as I said, I think the last AAA game I played was Elden Ring, you know, and I played Last of Us after that, but I consider Last of Us an old game, so I don't, you know, it's not the last one I
Yeah,
played.
but
But
I think that Japanese developers are like how to say it's they're so much better in understanding what makes a game fun for players and
yeah,
being able to connect with their games. I'm not saying other countries are not good in it. Don't get me wrong, please. I'm not saying it. It just I feel like Japanese people are so their work ethic is so much better in my opinion. And that's what I wanted to say with The Last of Us, that I feel like if I would have to pick one company from other than Japanese, I would say that Naughty Dog, who made The Last of Us and the Uncharted games and also the old Crash Bandicoot games, they are the ones who are, way above other AAA studios. Because they
okay,
are releasing not just, high quality graphical games, but still the story, the gameplay, how they if you just think of The Last of Us 1 and 2, how they changed the graphics from the first part, the second part, and not just the graphics. I remember when they showed devlogs and they show that even in Uncharted games back then, they had like this, method of like the main character. If you're getting very close to a wall, then he will, put his arm to the wall and touch it. That okay, I don't want to go to there. It's
yeah,
like so many details, and I think that that's what matters for these games because they are so detailed and enriched, with
yeah,
these small elements that matters. Also a good example in my opinion is Bioshock series. If you know
yeah.
those, they're
Oh
also
yeah,
like great in environmental storytelling, and they have so many good details. Yeah, and the story, of course, and the gameplay.
this is probably why they have been why they have survived for so long in the sense that
True,
they're
true.
better.
We still remember and we still want new sequels for those games, right? Because we still care and they are great games. I mean, I think that those games will be remembered for like, I don't know, 100 years or 1000 years from now on too.
Yeah, I mean, Bioshock to me is one of the most memorable games
True, true, true.
ever.
But there's
Um,
also like a new game from Ken Levine, if I'm remember
yeah,
it correctly. The Judas game called
yeah,
Judas. Yeah, yeah.
I'm still a bit skeptical, I guess, about it, but I'm looking forward to it. I think it might be really good. I'm not. The thing is, I didn't like Bioshock 3 a lot, so I'm just like, okay, what are you gonna do now? You know, because Bioshock 3 to me it doesn't look like Bioshock. It's a good game, but it's not. It's a different
I
kind of
love the
game,
game.
and
I love the game. I love Bioshock Infinite. In my opinion, it was a bit different than from the
it's
first
very
and the second one, but it had a great story in my opinion. It
nice.
about Bioshock games, what I like the most is that the story makes you question a lot about ourselves and
Yeah,
our real life that we live in.
and it was made in a good moment in gaming, or maybe in a good political moment
True,
where they had the freedom to do because they actually had pretty much all sides. You know what I mean? Everyone,
true,
like there's a game that's against the left wing, not the left wing, but there's one that's anti-communist, one that's anti-capitalist, one that's anti-racist. There's a little bit of everything, and I think
true.
it's good commentary when you're playing the game, you don't know exactly what they are for, in the sense that it's
True.
done in a way that's not trying to preach to you, or it just presenting.
It's just there, but you have to get out the message for
Right.
yourself by experiencing it. Yeah.
And it's based on philosophers and people who, or thinkers of the times that they're
True.
representing, like Ayn Rand, and people who some people think are crazy, some people think are heroes, but in the moment it was made, it was not judged for that. And I think like
True. True.
you
Exactly. Yeah.
don't see that in Judas, because nowadays you cannot do that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because we are living in such a cancel culture era that everyone is being cancelled by their own thoughts and opinions. And I totally respect that what you said is that these games could run and get to a high percentage of players to be experienced by that that era did not cancel these developers and creators for their own thinkings, and now it's way different. Like in
I,
10
I,
years, we're changed so much. It's so weird to
yeah,
see that.
I guess we'll see. I mean, this could go the other
Yeah,
way, the
I feel
same way that
like
it's done.
I feel like
We'll see.
it's like an ever-going process of like changing here and there, vice versa. And I think like we will go back, not in time, because in time we will go forward, but we will go back to that era where like creators will have the freedom again to speak out or speak up with their own thoughts and put out their very honest opinions, because Last of Us did that, right? So Last of Us 2 did that in a very cancel
Yeah.
culture era, and a lot of people hated Last of Us 2 because
Right,
of
but because
that. So
yeah,
but it's
but
still like a great game and everyone respects it, so you cannot take away the shine, I guess, from these games, even if people are like hating the fact. I always say that these games, which offer such a deep level of messages, even if it's like not like you said that it's preaching to you, but it's there and you have to experience it. It's like I don't know. It's like it would be a mirror for people, like they are seeing themselves in a mirror, their real life problems, their weaknesses, their bad choices in life. And I think that that's the philosophical side, or I don't know, the mind side of people and the thinking side of the people, that's why they are so like into canceling all these projects, or having these bad opinions, because one, they might do not understand what they see, and two, even if it's not intentional, but their back of their mind telling them that okay, it's you who are doing these bad things, and it's speaking to you,
right,
so it's like it's also a message. For example, if you see Last of Us 2, in that game, it shows that in every faction, or most of the factions, even if there is a virus out there, and people getting killed by other forms of life, if we could say that,
yeah,
in that case, it's not that they would come together and fight against a common enemy, but they fight for territory, for food, for love, for everything. Like, it's stupid, and people haven't changed. And that game showed that we as humans, we will do the same over and over and over, even in every territory alive, and even in post-apocalyptic world too. And it sucks to see that, but it's true. And I think that that's what made people get angry as well, that they saw that okay, it's me. I probably would do the same. I would probably fight for territory, and it's like
right.
it's like spoke to people that okay, we as humans are probably these stupid life forms who are not willing to change for the better and not fight, like I don't know, like a dog for a stick, with another dog.
I mean, we're definitely stupid creatures, or at least we are stupider than we think we are. I mean, a lot of people have lost
Of
track.
course,
But
I wasn't like saying it in a judgy or very bad way, because I'm not saying that humans are stupid. It's just it's weird to
no,
see that if we do get the message that it's for us to change, come on, we have to change. It's in the game. People will
right,
play it and people will get mad about it. Of course, there are a lot of people like me and you who appreciate the message and who are probably. I always say this, that these very deep level messages makes uh, the clever people more clever and the stupid people are more stupid.
I guess, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I mean, I guess it's definitely people. I think in the last few years we have changed. Not me personally, or at least I try not to, but the panorama has changed in the way people look at themselves and
true.
the outside. you're probably right when it comes to the fact that they're seeing themselves in a mirror in a lot of ways. Uh, I don't know. I don't know. The best thing to do with this, in a lot of cases, is just to let it go
True.
or try not to get involved.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I do that the same because I feel like it's no point to get involved. What we can do at the end of the day is like talk about these things and our opinions and to shape things for the better, of course, in my opinion. Because I'm not saying that I'm perfect or any one of us are perfect, but we are trying to, and that's at the end of the day, that's what we should be the goal for every one of us. That's like change for the better because I feel like every one of us like would like to do that. It's just it's so comfortable to not to change, and it's true. And I feel like that's why people that are stuck in their real life problems and not willing to change, that's why they do not will do not have the will to understand and have these fun and happy moments in their life because they cannot focus on those things.
Right, and I think like people have gotten very used to get easy answers.
True, true, and fast, right? It's the click,
Yeah,
like it's a click
question
and the game is made. It's not, man.
right, but the questions sometimes are not easy at all.
True.
You cannot have an easy answer to a question that's really complicated. And when I see these mobs happening and these cancellation things happening, it's a lot of the time the people who are canceling don't have the full picture of the thing.
True, exactly. You do not see behind the curtain, like what I'm always
No?
saying.
And sometimes the people who are canceled also have done some things that are wrong, but
True.
they're humans, and maybe they can change, maybe they can understand, maybe not. But we never used to be so quick to judge that they could not. I mean, if you can accept, I don't know, Mike Tyson bit the ear of a fighter, and everyone talks nice about Mike Tyson now, even though he might have raped someone, you can forgive that person, but the next time someone says this one is an ist or whatever they say it is, it doesn't matter. Or something that's actually wrong, but maybe they didn't even intend to do it, or maybe So
True.
I'm not trying to say every time someone gets canceled is wrong, because sometimes people are assholes and they deserve.
True. True.
But all the time, it doesn't look like that,
True.
and I don't think we should be so fast.
True.
You
True.
know,
True. True. True.
benefit
True.
of the
I
doubt.
totally agree with you and respect your opinion. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. And we are not patient enough to give our time to others to understand others. And it's not just like judging others. It's about like relationships as well. That's why I feel like nowadays it's very hard to find any good relationship with any people. Like it's so rare to find real friendships and real, I don't know, love in people because I feel like people are not patient enough to willing to evolve themselves for the better, and also like you want to understand others' mistakes and help them grow as a person. It's just takes time, like you said. It takes literally time, not and efforts to do that, like as a
Mhm.
person. And we have time. Like that's why I don't understand about people that they're. I think it's the rush. So, once I read something about like people are rushing to the day of their death with this method of life, right? And it's true if you think about that because like we are so aware of death at the back of our mind, but we are not willing to stop for a moment and realize that okay, I live, I breathe, I can enjoy my moments in my real life, and being able to make changes in my life and to enjoy actually my life. So it's weird, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like that sometimes. I mean, I myself get into stuff that's not good for me. Like I said, like the multiplayer games or whatever stuff I do now.
We all do
Sometimes,
that, right? But it's up to us to change, and that's what matters. If we are willing to change, it's good.
see, one thing is like I'm very critical with myself all the time. So when I look at other people, I can be very critical, but I can also be very understanding. So I don't,
True.
I try not to judge because I understand that if I fuck up all the time, then other people also screw up all the time.
True. True.
And
True. True.
sometimes it that doesn't mean I never get upset or I never hate anyone, but it takes me a while. I mean, I need to actually see that you have bad will for me to actually feel something negative towards you
True.
for real. I mean, I can feel it momentarily if you screw me up, and I'm like, oh, but that doesn't mean I'm gonna hate you. You know,
True.
online is very easy too. The fact that first of all, people are used to get those quick replies, and and also another thing is like they used to now they have to have an opinion on everything. You know, you cannot know about everything or about everyone. Like it's like it's like when we just had Doctor Disrespect being canceled, it probably might be for the good thing. I mean, I think that if everything is true, it's obviously not a thing that you should be doing. But the things you read when this is going on from people is like you don't even know. You don't know what he did or what he didn't.
True.
I don't
True.
know.
True. 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 True.
It's a whole new world, and we're just navigating it the best way we can, right?
Yeah, and media loves to, even to use this type of things, even
Yeah.
for their advantage. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
That's the thing. I mean, people make money out of this kind of thing, and
True. 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 True.
all you're gonna do is try to be as little influenced as you can by those people, if you can, or if you detect them, because sometimes it's hard to know who's lying to you too. I mean,
True. And it's not just
we're
media. At the end of the day, a lot of people are like more willing to not being honest because like it's comfortable for them to get out of their skin and being able to criticize themselves for
Mhm.
being able to grow and being honest about themselves, not just
Yeah.
for them but for others too. Yeah, it's like when they on dating apps, people are like not willing to show the actual side of theirs, but they are like willing to put on a mask and say
Well, right.
different things. It's funny because I read something about like there was a guy who had like a very like bad disease, and also he was like a very weird person in a lot of ways, and he stated it like on a dating app, and he was like never believing in that he will find the perfect woman for
Uh,
himself, but he did. And the one that replied back to this guy respected him for being very honest, and they are together like now for like 20 years or so. So
awesome.
it's very interesting to see that there are examples of like which shows or which show that being honest really matters. It just takes
Mhm.
time to find those people who are willing to be honest with you in the same
Right.
level or on the same level.
I mean, I try to do all the time, but at the same time, like when you're talking or communicating online, you have to be careful because of the stuff
True,
we're talking.
exactly. There are weird people and
And
toxic people. Exactly.
it's bad. And going back to how we started talking about this, I feel like, especially when it comes to art, it should be as free as possible. It doesn't matter what political leanings the artist has. And to me, it doesn't even matter at all. But I would say at least it should not matter when it comes to this person being able to get a job, or you know what I mean. Like art should be, or the artist should be free to express themselves as they feel,
True.
because otherwise it stops being art. It doesn't mean it's not art at all, but it starts crossing into something else. You know, if you're
True. True. True.
self-censoring,
True.
and,
True.
I think like you're losing the freshness. If you think about, I don't know, the Sex Pistols, you think that if these people were thinking about money when they made God Save the Queen, that song would mean anything to anyone? No,
True.
because it wouldn't have been that song. It would have been something else. They were thinking, we just want to mess everyone up. And it turned out that they made a lot of money with that, but they were not thinking about making money. And you just have to listen at newer projects from them to understand that that freshness is never coming back, because there's a part of innocence in the
True.
artist,
True. True.
especially
That you do
before you.
not care, right? You just want to push
Right.
yourself to the people to see your craft and yourself with the
Yeah.
craft.
You have to care as little as
True,
possible
true, true, true,
for
true.
the stuff to be fresh and true. Otherwise, it's manufactured, and it doesn't mean it
It's
can't be
like a
good.
little kid who is trying out a new game that he invented for himself, right? And not caring about what anyone would think, but to
Yeah,
show your friends who are kids too that, okay, let's play this game, and they are willing to play. Yeah.
Yeah, so I believe that's the main thing, and or the main thing I would push for is that not only games but music, visual art, whatever. Never mind whatever people think politically, because we're
True,
never
true.
all gonna agree. We're never gonna agree on everything.
And not
I
not every one of us would like to go into politics, right? That's also a topic that
That's also, yeah, no
exactly
thing.
like
Like,
not all of us care about politics. Some of us just want to make forms of art and you know.
and I just don't know anyone, even my best friends, that I agree with everything. I mean, I don't agree with anyone on
But
everything.
that's
So,
not a bad thing, right? So
but it seems to be online a lot of the time.
yeah, sadly, yeah.
And it happens when people judge art too. It's like,
And that's what comes back to the topic that we have discussed. That I think that people do not like the fact of not being able to agree on something. That they how to explain. They're impatient. They are not patient enough to to listen to others' opinions, and that's why they say, okay, you're not right, okay, end the conversation. But it's like, no, come on, man, like there's a middle ground and you can be right about it and he can be right about it too. Like it just takes time to listen, to actually care about others.
yeah, and it takes conversations like this one, like
True,
not because,
exactly, like we do. Yeah, exactly,
right,
exactly.
not because we're talking about controversial themes, but
True,
because if you want to talk about a controversial thing, you're not gonna fix it in two comments on Twitter, because
true,
you cannot
true,
explain what you're
exactly,
saying.
exactly,
You
yeah.
know, and the other person is only gonna assume you are what they in their mind think the other side is. But
True,
the side of the argument, I'm not talking of political side, but just you're on a side of on one side of the argument, you have your idea of what the other side is like. But if you actually talk to the other side for more than 5 minutes, you might figure out that they're not that. But it's really hard to get to that
exactly, yeah.
place nowadays. And that's one thing with game deving that I still don't know a lot. I'm still trying to start with, which is criticism, because I, for instance, in the visual arts, in the illustration community where I come from, was I started on DeviantArt before it was what it is now. It was a lot of artist communities there, and everyone was so nice. Everything was very supportive. So in the gaming community, within the devs, it is the same thing. But when it comes to the public, and it doesn't, I don't think it's so much applies to indies, but it does apply more than with art. Some people are really harsh when they speak their mind. Like it does, from my perspective of being working on this every day, all day, it does sound a bit like what you say, that they think that you press a button and the game is done, and then I get the game and it doesn't work, and people complain in a way that, man, I still need to get used to that. I'm very aware that it's not going to be the same criticism that I used to get as an artist. So, but I'm still holding my, I feel like holding my arms and be like, okay, let's see what it's going to be the really first bad one I get, and how am I going to take it? Because
True,
it has
true. Because at the end of the day, you can get emotional. It's a good thing because you're passionate about your craft. I always say this, that it's like a kid for you which is
yeah,
growing with in the hand of yours. Yeah,
yeah, I want it to be the best game in the world. I know it's not going to be, because I'm only one person doing it, but I want it to be it. And so if someone is really disappointed and they also say it in a bad manners way, then I'm sure it's going to affect me, and then I'm going to have to learn to accept this kind of thing, which is going to be another step, and that's also going to help with my normal life, because
true,
no one likes to be told you're doing it wrong. But if
true,
you
true,
know if
true,
I can get something positive from that, I mean,
true.
I've gotten bad criticisms, but I use them to make it better. Like Matt McMuscles made a video of my game, and I felt like other people said it wasn't a bad review. From my point of view, it was bad. But what do I do? I still have the tab on, and now and then I go there and look. Oh, look at that thing he said. I'm going to try to fix it, or to understand why he said it. Should I or should I not do something about it? So I'm hoping that, like this time, I can just take the L and get my little black heart for like 5 minutes, and then I just recover, and I'd be like, well, okay, so how do I make it better? And you know,
Yeah,
that's what I'm hoping.
that's life, I guess.
Yeah,
At the
that
end
is
of
it.
the day, yeah.
Yep. Yep.
Okay, we talked about a lot of topics, not just games, but everything, I guess. Is there anything that you would like to mention that we haven't touched as topic before we go into stream questions, the community questions?
I would really like to say that thank you very much for letting me be here. It's been super pleasant.
Thank you.
It's the first time I do this kind of thing. I was really nervous. It's been very nice, very smooth,
Thank you.
and I enjoyed it.
I
I
enjoy it
enjoyed
too.
it. I
And
enjoyed it
I
very much.
appreciate that you were very honest and very open minded about topics to talk
Mhm.
about. Thank you.
I'll try.
Thank you for
So
that.
let's see if there are any
Yeah,
questions.
let's do that. Let's do that. So guys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, let me know if there is any question to the topics that we discussed or any other things. Oh, by the way, Sims, hi. Sorry if I did not say hi to anyone. I always read back the chat at the end of the stream, but I think that you all know it. Thank you. Thank you for the follow, by the way. The cheers, the sub. Thank you. Is there any question? Is there any question? Let us know. Hölgyek, urak, van bármi kérdés? Let us know. Bármi kérdés. You can check out the games. Oh, let me turn it down. You can check out the games Steam page if you haven't done that. Also, don't forget to wishlist the game. And yeah, let us know. Let us know if there is any question. Can you copy paste the link? Oh yeah, sure. Oh, it's not there. Oh yeah, because it was on timer. By the way, Sims, you could also join our Discord channel if you want. After the stream. Okay, there it is. Interesting conversation. Thank you for that. Okay, let me watch back. Okay, so Mini is asking an interesting question in Hungarian. I will translate it to English. If you would have a wish, what kind of process of making video games would you made easier for yourself? Interesting question.
That's a hard question because I kind of enjoy all parts of the process, but if I had to choose one, I definitely choose coding just because it's the less artistic one.
Okay.
And I do like it, and I do enjoy it, especially when I fix a bug that has been like pissing me off. But if I had to choose what I spend more time with, I spend more time making music. I spend more time making art. I take me coding time and let me do some models, because I have a very very long list of people who made models for this game that they don't even they don't even know they put their models out there. So I would rather make a lot more of my models than be coding as much as I am. But I still enjoy coding. I think there's any part of the process that's really really bad, to be honest.
Okay, I see. There's also one more question which will come from me. So you talked about that you were playing in a band. Do you still play in a band, by the way? Do you still do music at your everyday level?
Sure, I have a couple bands. Yeah.
Okay. You should show me after the stream and yeah.
Okay, I have some stuff around here.
Oh, nice.
This is our last album over here.
Oh, nice. Okay. Nice.
My thing.
I will listen to your music after the stream. Nice.
And just from my other band, which is another album we have.
Is there like a website for your band where people can listen to, or is it on Spotify too, or where can we find, or is it their YouTube channel?
For this Coda band, we have the Bandcamp page. We don't really have a website. We have Instagram. I don't do it. The guitar player does it, and we have the Bandcamp. And so you can buy vinyls and you can buy CDs, and you can download the album digitally too.
Nice.
And for the other band, Nelia, it's a bit more more how to say that. It's not necessarily. It's not that it's less. How to say that? I don't know how to say it. Not in Spanish, but it's more home. It's like a more home band in the sense that we don't necessarily look for shows or I mean, I've been playing with them for 5 years, and we made an album, and it's like
Okay.
it's if we don't make another album in another 3 years, no one's gonna say anything. It's more like we go to the practice room and we play the songs. And we're always ready for the show, but we only do small shows. And then this band is a bit different. We do this is a metal band, but we
Okay.
have a sax player, we have a trumpet player. So it's like an experimental thing. Like we're doing some jazz festivals, we're doing metal venues, and so that's very interesting because I've always been in the punk metal scene, playing drums, and now doing jazz festivals, and
Nice.
that kind of place is really weird for me. Like it's very nice, but really strange because I'm not used to it. Like I'm used to another kind of public, you know.
Do you feel like similar, like as being a game dev, that you always want to challenge yourself and you appreciate the new, fresh experience on music side, as
Oh
you
yeah, I'm
mentioned
ready.
there?
I'm ready for anything when it comes to music.
Okay,
I think music is probably the most relevant thing in my life in the sense that it's the thing that I enjoy the most.
I see.
And I've played drums for 30 years now,
That's a lot
and
of years. Nice.
it's it's a long time. And this is pretty much the first band that I have in these 30 years that actually works. So I'm very happy about it. This is the best album I've ever recorded for sure. I
Nice,
mean,
nice, nice,
for
nice,
sure.
nice. Love to hear that.
You know, so that also shows you that you don't have to be 20 to make
True,
it.
exactly, exactly. People, are very how to say that. I'm comfortable about the feeling of getting older and then saying that okay, that's my time. I can't do nothing now. I'm too old, but it's not true. Come on, man. Yeah,
It's
true,
very
true.
funny. Of like 30-year-olds being like, oh, it's the end of my
Yeah,
life.
yeah, exactly, exactly, exactly. Like what the hell?
You're
You're
barely
still
starting.
young.
You're
Yeah.
barely beginning at 30.
Yeah,
You're
exactly,
starting to
exactly.
know who
That's
you
when
are.
experiences come together and you realize what you would like to do. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
And
that's when
how
you
to
start.
do those things. Yeah.
That's when you start to know yourself, and
True, 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 true.
be clear on what you want to
I
continue.
experienced that too. Yeah, exactly.
So, I think I'm still gonna be doing stuff until the day I die because this is what I do. What I'm gonna do if I'm not
Love that.
creating stuff,
Love
I'm
that.
just gonna be bored
The
out of my
creative
house.
mastermind, right? Love that.
Yeah, I'm not a mastermind, but I just like to do
I'm
stuff.
saying it because you are. You are. You're a very talented person, and I love the
Thank you.
fact that you're creating so much stuff in your life, and you're willing to give
It's
to the
what I
people.
like. It brings you a poor life, but at the same time, it's happier than if I was doing something else. So I
True, true, true,
uh,
true, true, true.
just
True.
do what I can and try to keep make me peop, try to keep making people pay for my creative endeavors.
That's the learning process, like not just the
Uh,
marketing, but that's what learning process. That's the skill
I'm
that you
proud.
have to pick up to. Yeah,
Yeah, and to learn to deal with clients and all that stuff.
yeah.
Everything has the
It's
bad things.
hard.
And
It's hard. I can totally relate to you as well because I have some very talented people in my community who do some forms of art, like making these, for example, these crocheted figurines, or plushies, or others do, other forms of art too, and they are like very afraid when it comes to the money part when they are asking people to pay, and it's very hard for them to to say the exact amount what they would like to. And I'm always say that okay, you're talented, you need to ask more because you want to change your job. And it's like they are always saying that yeah, but it would be better to get it for free. And I totally relate to that with your perspective, and I understand it because like we have spoken about it, that in ideal words these things should be free and we should be able to live. Yeah.
Mhm.
And not
You know, I still believe it could work, but not in the system we have right now.
yeah,
But
yeah, I
we
can
could
see
make
that
it.
happen in some years, but people have to realize that it's art. It's not like you can. So I think that's like the real problem when it comes to this. It's like people do not understand that you cannot judge by money wise, these type of things, because you cannot say okay, I don't know, I paid, I don't know, $60 for a game and it's bad. because it's not bad because it costs $60, and it's not that it's $60 and it should be good. Like, come on, like it's not the case. Like, it's
Yeah,
$60 because they have to live too. Like, they have to, have bread, have, good breakfast on the table and everything. Like, pay the bills. And that's what people do
yeah,
not understand. Like, it's not their intentional choice to make. It's like a must thing. I'm always saying money is a must thing. It's not that we choose to it be to have for ourselves. It's the world
yeah,
that was created for us, and we live in that world, in a box, that we cannot get out from.
yeah. Like it or not, it is what it is. It is hard though to ask money for what you do because
True, true,
I don't know how much it is worth, and
true,
it is not worth the same in Indonesia than it is in Sweden, and that's hard too
true,
because
true, true, true,
people
true,
from
true,
all over
true,
the world.
true,
And,
true, true.
sometimes you will say a price, and people are going to be like, "Oh, this is so cheap," and you'll say the same price, and someone is going to be, or you don't even get a reply because they're like, "Oh, yeah, I cannot pay for that." It just happened this week to me. Like I gave a
True,
price, and I got no reply for an illustration.
true.
It keeps happening after so many years because you never know, and you cannot, you know, you cannot make prices for depend. I don't know. You cannot adjust prices sometimes for people because you don't know what their circumstances are.
True, true,
Or for
true, true.
someone,
It's a two-sided thing, like everything is. But still, at the end of the day, I totally respect that you said, and I understand you, and I agree with you that art cannot be judged by money wise. So it's like if you paint, for example, you cannot judge it by money. Like, how would you say, okay, it's cost $1,000 or just 100? Why? Why would you say that? Like, also the problem is that art ages. Like, if something wasn't that popular now, it might be like, 100 years later, and it might be,
yeah,
the richest people who only has that painting on their wall. Like, it's
yeah,
very stupid because it shows that people do not care about art at the present time. It's very similar when to music. When a musician dies, people will go and listen to that musician's album, and
it's very
before that, it's like a way lower percentage of people who even knew about the music, and it's stupid. Like, I remember, I'm pretty much into all genres of music, but I'm pretty much my most favorite genre is rap and rock as well. I know they are way two different sides of musical side,
you
but
call that you call that all types of music?
no, no, not just no, no. I said these two are my
Okay.
two of my favorite, but I say all. I listen to all kinds of music. So I listen to
Oh,
Japanese classical. I was playing the
okay.
violin for 10 years, by the way.
No, I thought you
No, no,
said
no, no. It's
all.
just two favorite. It's just two favorite. I was saying
I
that.
thought you meant old, as in it's very old.
Oh, no, no,
Not
all. Yeah, all like whole. So I listen to all kinds of music, not
okay.
old. Yeah, sorry. And there was a verse from a rapper named J Cole, who said that something that I cannot recall the verse itself, but it was like something like, you should respect the artist when they live, and you should not listen to their music when they die.
Oh,
And it's very, I cannot recall the verse. It's way better from his verse and what he said, but it was so appealing to me to hear that artists do care about this vision, that people are so, like, I don't know, hyped about if somebody dies. And it's stupid. Like, come on, man. Like, what the hell? Why do you listen to music and get hyped that he died? It's like
yeah,
so many people died, and people just listen to the music since they did not even know. And in other hands, on the other side of, okay, sure, you can do that. You can get, be open minded and understand music, even if you did not know about the musicians. But still, like, getting hyped, it's so
yeah.
weird for me. Like, why? Why do
Uh,
you do that at the end of the day? Like, he's dead. Come on, he's a person just like you.
yeah, I don't understand that, but it's true that sometimes you have to die for your art to be
True,
recognized.
true, true. And it's like history repeats itself. It's like it was always like that for musicians, right? And not just musicians, for every form of artists who made their craft happen. And it's
painter.
so weird. Like, if you die, then your painting will be, the most expensive painting that any one of us could afford. And it's stupid.
Yeah,
Like, why? And those people could not even pay their rent or their bills back then at those days. Like, why? And it's not changing. Like, it's stupid. It's
yeah,
just stupid.
yeah. I think a lot of things like I don't know. I think some things we don't like is probably just part of the human experience. I don't know that we
True.
can change some of that stuff. You know,
True. Exactly. Yeah.
because you listen to the old writings like the Greeks or whatever, and a lot of the things they were complaining about are the same things we are
True.
complaining about.
Exactly. Like, nothing has changed. We just think that a lot of has changed, but not. It's not true.
It's
Yeah.
human condition, and we are
True.
faulty beings. I mean, we
True.
are intelligent, and we are also faulty, and
True.
we make mistakes, and sometimes we do stuff that's genius, and
True.
sometimes the person that does more genius things is the person that does more mistakes too, because
True.
sometimes to make a genius it takes a really big imbecile, and
Yeah.
it is what it is. Like we're not monolithic in our thoughts
True.
or in our,
True. 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 Yeah. 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 Okay, I can see that there is also a question from Sims. What engine is your game made in? Unity. We talked about
yeah,
that. Yeah, Unity. Unity.
opportunity.
Yeah.
And it is, it's a choice. I still think it's a very good engine. I think it's very, very good. And it's very comfortable and very nice to work with. I mean, to be honest, before I tried Unreal, before I tried Unity, I tried Unreal for a month, and I picked Unity because I thought to me, it seemed more intuitive, easier to grab. Maybe it is easier because Unreal is more powerful. That's a possibility.
True. True.
Oh, I feel like it's a very good engine to start with, to be honest. And if you want to start now, you might want to start with Godot because you can learn C sharp just the same, or you can use Godot script. But there's a lot of Unity in Godot because it's been done, a bit with that kind of framework in mind that it's going to be the next Unity because Unity has become corporate. Unity used to be Godot.
Yeah.
Unity was a small, very
Like we
small.
said, we never will know what could be the case about these or behind these decisions, right? So
Yeah,
companies go this way.
it
There's
is what it is.
Yeah, true, true, true. It talks about the appeal of suicide for an artist to go out and be remembered more and have a legacy. Yeah. Oh, you mentioned, yeah. So Sims put a song out there from 21 Pilots.
Okay,
Yeah,
I'm going to put that link.
Neon Gravestones lyrics. Yeah,
I'll listen to
similar
that.
similar topic about. Yeah. That I also talked about. Thanks for that, by the way. Thanks for the other perspective on that. Thank you, Sims. I will open up that and have it open so I can check it. Thank you for that. Yeah, we talked about a lot of things. Is there anything that's any of you, girls and guys, ladies and gentlemen, would like to ask? Let us know. Hölgyek, urak, van bármi kérdés? Még így, hogy beszélgettünk, láttátok a játékot. I'm not a good marketer of anything myself, but guys and girls, don't forget, really, I would appreciate if you would click on the store page, Steam page, and try out the demo, and also like wishlist the game, and yeah, let us know how did you like it, how was it for you. So yeah, any more questions? Let us know if there is any more questions. Let me go back. Oh yeah, Sims wrote, by the way, that I haven't picked up. Duke Nukem would get cancelled hard these days. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Thank you, Sims. I hope you enjoy it.
Oh yeah, and DDR said that your beard looks very cool and very nice.
Oh yeah, this is an actual neck beard. You don't want a neck beard, then there you go.
Nice. Okay. Thank you, Sims. Has your guest ever seen a UFO or alien? Oh, okay, interesting question. Interesting.
Only in my game so far. I haven't
Okay.
seen it.
Do you believe in? Do you believe in those, by the way?
I believe in them in the sense that I don't think we are alone,
Okay. Sorry.
but I don't necessarily believe in sightings.
Okay.
That doesn't mean there doesn't exist, but I don't think maybe there. I think of all the possibilities of aliens and how they might be, it's quite possible that it's something that we don't even see or detect as even live.
True. True.
Who
True.
knows what's out there? I mean,
I do believe too, but I would say that I think that our mind is so like strict about seeing these spiritual beings or other life forms that we might see them. It's like in Doctor Who series where
right,
people, like, if their brain is using more power, then
right.
then then they willing to see the other life forms in other
But
dimensions.
are those aliens though?
Not
I don't
sure.
know.
Maybe
I,
humans in
I,
from the
would-
future. I always say that too.
I definitely believe what you said, and what that is, our brains are capable of a lot more
True, true,
of
true,
what
true,
we are
true,
consciously aware of,
true,
and
true,
that's definitely I take that as a complete truth. Now, I don't know that we understand what we are seeing when
true.
we see.
Exactly. And we are so afraid of those things that we do not understand. That's why probably our brain restricts us from seeing those things, because we might be shocked and we might die on the experience of seeing something that we do not understand.
That might be an explanation too. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I know for sure that our brain is capable of a lot more than
True.
what we
I
know
agree. I agree. Yeah. Yeah.
it is. And we know that's a truth for a fact. I mean, you just have to be right now. The ceiling falls on top of me. I'm gonna do some superhuman stuff. I mean, unless I'm dead, I'm gonna lift some rocks, and
True. True.
I'm not
True.
gonna know how I've done it, but I'm just gonna
True.
do it.
True. 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 True.
Both body and mind can do stuff we're not used to
True.
now. I
True.
don't know that we fully understand what it is. I think that we try to find explanations, and that some might be closer to the reality than others, but
we
I don't know
just
that.
we're just trying to box our knowledge into a smaller box at the end of the
Right.
day, I guess.
We're trying to put it in a way that a human might understand, but it
Yeah,
might not be
yeah,
a concept a human can understand.
yeah.
I don't think we can understand the universe,
True, true.
no matter how many calculations and mathematics we make on it. I don't think we know, and we might never know how it works and why it came to be and why it's gonna be destroyed if it is. I mean, some things are just above us, and I have certain peace in not trying to understand them. And I think aliens, for me, are somewhere in that space where I don't think if I've seen one, I've recognized it, and I don't think if I saw one, I would know it was. You know,
True,
I don't know.
true.
Maybe I would. Maybe there's a place like the Earth, like galaxies away, but who knows?
True, 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 true. Okay, I will read the comment that Gergovich said.
That's a long one.
Oh, he wishlisted the game, and first of all, it looks like Doom. For the style that you have one, you needs you as a player kill things. Very good idea. For him, it's very interesting that it's going to be free, because from his perspective, he would even pay for the game, and the pixel arted style is very rare with this type of topic that you mentioned, that you have to shoot these Nazis. And I wouldn't say it's a fan made game, because it shows that it's more of like from what you loved, and not a fan made thing. Um,
I would say more like a tribute more than a fan game
yeah,
because it's really not following anything in Wolfenstein at all when it comes to the story, or it's just clearly inspired because it is what I love the most.
yeah,
You know, it's up there, and that's the best game ever for
nice.
me. It's not maybe the game I played the most, but it's still.
By the way, speaking of physical editions that you show that you have your albums, your books, your games, are you planning to release your games in a physical version too? By the way, I think we talked about that, right?
Yeah, we
We
talked
told
about that.
yeah we talked about that because you told me that it probably will be released only in your country, right?
Right, I think
Yeah.
in
We
Asia,
talked about it. Sorry for that.
there
Yeah,
is
yeah.
solutions, but I'm not sure about the Western world.
Okay, thank you.
I'm probably gonna get one, and I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get
Let
four
me
star.
know if there is a possibility to buy
Yeah,
one from you,
if I
okay?
can,
For
I'm probably.
PlayStation 5. I need that. I need that in my collection. I need that. Let me know. Let me know. Let me
Awesome.
know.
Yeah, I will definitely.
Okay.
I'll be so happy to have it, even if it's not for a system that I have. I mean, it's not gonna be for PC, but I'm
It's
gonna be
nice
so
to see
happy.
that you made it, right? It's your creation,
So
like
happy. I want to see that so bad. I want to have
yeah,
it
yeah.
in my
Love that.
hands.
Love that. Love that. Love that. Okay. Hölgyek, urak, bármi más kérdés? Any more questions, guys and girls? Let me know. Let me know. Let us know. Let us know if there is any more questions. Let us know. Let us know. Oh yeah, Gergos is saying that he cannot wait to play your game, and your game reminded him of Wolfenstein and Doom games
Right.
for 100%, and it's very nice to see for him that the HUD is not like that, but only the gameplay. So the HUD is way different, which he respected. That
Oh,
it's way more different
yeah.
for him to experience, but the gameplay side it's very similar. So for him it's a must buy thing. But see, he was complaining about the price. It's when people complain about the price to be the price and not free. It's a good thing. Finally, we have to appreciate these times.
So let's say if the game stays free, then if I make a survival mode and sell it for $5, I guess more people will be willing to buy that survival mode. I guess. I mean, that's
I
something I
will
have
pay
to.
for the box version of PlayStation Edition. I will tell you that. So I need that one. So let me know. Let me know. Yeah.
I mean, as I said, I think it's better to stay with the. Having said that it was going to be free, I think it's better to stay keeping it free. But certainly, sometimes I feel like I'm being stupid.
No, it's not. It's not. I don't think
Uh,
that. No. Don't say that. Don't say that. I wouldn't say that. It's like from your perspective and for my perspective, because I feel like since I created some stuff on my own too, like I created music and I'm writing books as well. I totally can relate to your perspective with me not wanting people to pay for it, but I
mhm.
think that our world is such a strict place about having money to being able to live, you know
Yeah,
what makes us wanting to have money for it. And it's a balance, right? So it's a crazy balance that you have to think of, like, yeah. But I think it's a good response to you as well, because I think that on the other way you should see this of people like my friends and me saying this to you, that you should ask for money for your game. It's a good response to you that people love your game, and it's good, right?
yeah.
So
Oh yeah, it's
it's a good
definitely
response.
one of the best compliments you could
True,
give me.
true,
Yeah.
true, 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 true.
Most definitely. I mean, and it's good because, as I said, sometimes you get bad critics, and you get, you need, as artists, I think we kind of feed on the good criticisms, you get, because
True.
especially I think in game dev is even more like that, because you have no idea what you're doing. I mean, if you don't, I mean, unless you've studied it, but I haven't. I studied in the sense that I've played a lot, and I've analyzed the games that I love the most, which is like Half Life or Wolfenstein, or but
That's how
I
you grow about your knowledge, right? That you
right.
analyze things, yeah.
I know that I know them so well that I can do something that resembles more or less that, but I also know that I can do multiplayer maps maybe. But I look at my multiplayer maps for ET now, and I'm like, there's not good gameplay. It's really nice graphics. I managed to make it very pretty, but it wasn't very good gameplay. So I have this, or I think I do at least, like this capacity to be very critical with myself. And I think that helps me improve with that too. But you can only get so far with that. You actually need people to give you either good or bad criticism to understand what you're doing good or wrong. And with gaming is so much more important because it's an interactive medium, and
True.
you don't really know what you've done until you get someone who doesn't know
True.
what's going on and gets their hands in there. And you're like, first time you try something, you're gonna be like, oh my god, what have I done? And that happened to me many times, and it still happens sometimes. I saw Matt McMuscles make the video. I was like, oh my god, I need to fix all of this shit, man. That's how you learn. You learn by seeing it yourself and being like, okay, take the L and move forward, man.
True. And I think
But
it's
I,
very similar to. Sorry for interrupting you. I think it's very similar to what you said. Is that I feel like my mother was always saying that, and she still says that when people have more knowledge than others, they will be judging themselves and always will be very critical about themselves. But
Mhm.
those people who have less knowledge about something, they will be very high on ego level that they are the most clever person in the room. And I
Right,
think that it's similar to what you said, that if you are talented enough to understand games and make games and make it cheaper because you are not feeling that you are enough or you know enough, but even if you know enough but you feel like that, right?
right.
And you're not, since then you're not willing to ask for a higher price. But if you would be, go stupid and do not understand things, you would say, okay, my game is $60, buy it. So
Then
it's pretty similar to that. I can see the relations with that.
when that happens, you get stuff like Hunt Down the Freeman and that kind of game. That's like, oh my goodness.
Yeah,
These
true.
things happen to me. It happened in the indie world, and that actually for a long time, indie games was that kind of thing, and then a few very good games. But it was a lot of. If you look at the history of the beginning of indie games, the public, as in those people who play Madden and other kind of games that are not hobbies, they or that were hobbies but only AAA hobbies, they
True.
tend to think of indie games either as Kickstarter scams or like that was a popular thing to think not so long ago. Now there's so many indies and so many success stories that people have gotten used to it. But
It
there's
changed
been,
the whole industry.
yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, so much as there have been many really, really good games, indie games like Ori or Dusk or
True,
the ones
true.
that have made it possible for me today to be trying to make a business out of this. They have been also like really, really like nasty stuff going on in the indie games. You know what I mean?
True,
So we have to also understand that. I guess that
true.
it's some people still think some people still hear Kickstarter and think, oh, scam.
Yeah,
Now, they still think that.
yeah,
I don't know. It's a hard. It's always a hard balance
true.
when it comes to the funding and because you also don't know. At least me, I have no company knows how much they need to make a game. I have no idea how much would I need.
Yeah.
I have
You just
nothing.
want to create, right? That's the creative
I'm just
mind.
one
Yeah.
person with one Unity editor, and I make a game because my balls, and nothing
Yeah.
else. I know.
Yeah.
I know nothing.
Yeah.
So,
Understandable. Yeah. Okay, Gergovich is asking, what's the release date, goal, or plan?
well,
Or
we
is it
don't
a
know that.
secret?
It's not a secret. We just don't know. I'm still possibly moving towards this fall, but I don't think it's going to happen
Okay.
because the more I look at it, the more things I see, and I just want it to be good, man. When it comes out, I just don't want it. I want to be at 1.0, knowing that I need 3 months to make a good 3 months more to leave it well. I
I see.
would
I
like
see.
1.0 to be what I think is the best I can do, at least when it comes to. It should have everything in it. It shouldn't be like a month in I'm adding achievements, or a month in I'm finishing the story, or that goes against my ethics.
I see. I see.
That's the whole thing we talked about. I want the game to be finished when it's finished, and it's a lot of work. I'm not gonna have it. I was talking to the publisher and talking about that, having it October, November, but and no, it's the end of July. I would have to finish it in 5 weeks, and I don't think that's gonna happen. So it's probably gonna be early 25, like
Okay.
February, March, somewhere around that. And that
Are you
way,
planning to release the game on all platforms around that time and
oh no,
date?
no, no, just PC, just
Oh,
PC.
just PC. Okay, okay.
Yeah, I think that's the what is going to happen is I'm going to finish the game. They are going to help me a bit. They have already helped me a bit. It's just not a full effort from them
Okay.
because they would prefer for me to finish the game. Now, when I consider it finished, I'm going to give it to them, and they're going to go over. They have, they have good coders and good artists, and they have all the people they need to make sure that the game is, you know, good quality. And I hope that they will tell me the stuff that is wrong that I might change, or they will change it, whatever. I don't know how that's going to work, but that's the plan. Is that I'm going to finish the game, I'm going to send it to them, and they're going to have whichever time they have to, just do it well, just do it right. Because a lot of stuff I've done, especially with coding, and especially in this game that was made when I didn't know how to code, a lot of the parts may need fixing. Maybe I don't know. I don't know. I don't really know what the plan is in that sense, but I know that they're gonna do it another pass after I do it, which is gonna be good for the game because I'm not a professional as they are. And then we're gonna release on PC, and then they're gonna start doing the ports, and the ports are gonna probably take 6, 9 months, whatever. Like the Switch port is gonna take a long time. I know for sure because it's not gonna run.
I see.
I'm making this game. I'm targeting 60 FPS. I'm using a 3070, and I'm targeting 60. And I have a very nice CPU, and my CPU sometimes is still like. So Switch is not gonna run it. So they're gonna have to do magic, and they're gonna do it because I know I've seen other projects they have done, and it works, and it works. But they're gonna have to split maps in three or in four, or whatever it needs to be done.
I see. Okay.
I don't know if they release one after the other. I think they're gonna wait until they have all the versions and then do the console release. So console release might be as well fall 25 or even early 26. I don't know.
Okay. Thank you for that. Okay, Sims is asking, what is your favorite book, any genre, and could be the same answer. What would be a good game for a game developer to read for inspiration?
Wow, I don't know about books. Most of the books I read are not very. I can read fantasy books. I like fantasy stuff. I like Hobbit.
Okay.
Hobbit is definitely my top book. I sometimes I read a little bit of philosophy, but I don't know that I know any book that's good for game devs.
Or get inspiration from, I guess.
Get
Such as.
inspiration. For me, it's always the 90s, and like Blade Runner is huge for me. Akira is huge for me. Tetsuo. I was just watching Tetsuo last night. It was insane. Every time I watch it, it's like I see some insane stuff. Do you know what the movie I'm talking about?
I think
Tetsuo is
yes.
like
I think
the
yes.
black and white movie. It's the Iron Man.
Yeah.
It's some dude that starts putting pieces of metal inside his flesh, and then becomes this metal man. It's an insane movie, but I saw it when I was 16, and it changed my whole thing. I saw it in a movie theater with Akira, and this was that Tetsuo was like the first, the opening, so to speak, and then you had Akira, and both movies totally changed the way I see art, and I would say definitely changed my life because it's a big part of what made me go further into art and science fiction maybe and that kind of stuff. Because when I was younger than that, I used to like Dragon Ball a lot and just kind of different, like I would say more entertainment, like like more entertaining and less make you think, make you, I don't know.
I see.
Like you watch that show, it's like a David Lynch movie. You don't understand anything that's going on, and you watch it the 10th time, and you still understand half of what's going on.
True.
But I've come to appreciate that kind of stuff a lot, and I think that's gonna be it. Something's coming with this kind of Iron Man kind of thing. I have so many ideas in my head for the next game, but I'm
So
definitely
you say
looking.
that your next game will be more story based in that sense?
Not necessarily story based, but I don't know. I this Metal Man thing is like it's yeah, he's doing. It's like a hamster in my head. He has a wheel. And it's just turning around in my head all the time. And I'm thinking what I can do. I think of that scene where he's looking at the mirror at himself. And he sees that this little part of metal is coming out. It's like he treats it like if it's a zit. And he's got like that. But I don't know. It's this kind of thing where the mechanics mixed with the human, it's always interesting, especially in the times we live now with AI. And I kind of want to go that way. I don't know if it's more story, but I want to make it more philosophical in the sense that it has like Bioshock, it has a message. I don't know that I want to do a lot of dialogue or anything, but
I see. Okay.
I don't know.
Okay.
This is what I have in my mind now, but I have so many ideas for
I
games.
love
So
that.
many.
I love that. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that idea of yours. Thank you. Okay. Any more questions? Any more? Any more? Any more? We discussed a lot of topics, by the way. I love
Yeah, we're
that.
for 3 hours now
Yeah,
almost.
so many topics. Yeah, nice. I appreciate that. Any other questions? Let me take a look if there was any that I missed. No. Okay. But that's a great idea. That's a great idea, and I appreciate that's yeah, your work and that you're willing to make all
And I think
these
that this is the main
creations.
one. I have other stuff. Do you know like a game called Saboteur from the Amstrad Spectrum times where you went.
I'm not sure. I'm not
As
sure.
a game,
I might have seen that.
I love
I
this thing
played
as a game.
and saw a lot of games, but I still have not known any other. So I still have not experienced all of the games that are out there because there are so many games out there. So
It's impossible,
it's
man. It's impossible.
impossible. Yeah, exactly.
You never catch up.
True. 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 True.
There are
True.
days you know like it's you have to choose. And I generally stick with FPS nowadays. FPS and fantasy.
I
Like
play
I
to
play.
play. I tend to play every game to be honest, and I have a huge collection of games that I finished. Probably I don't know 3 or 4 thousand games throughout my life, but it's still like I feel it's still less that games are out there. So I am trying to always backlog, from every system that I can, and also play the new games. But I'm always like trying to see these games. There's a website called releases.com if I'm correct, and they are like trying to collect all the games. And I
Okay.
remember myself going to the Steam page and searching for games and filter it just to 1 month, and it was like I don't know almost 1000 games coming out in 1 month, and I was like what the hell, like it's so many games, and how do you backlog those games, or how do you play it? That's so many games, and
And
I'm
that's
willing to do that. It's just it's not that much time to play all those games,
yeah.
especially if games, for example,
Yeah.
are like 10 plus hours to complete. So yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you have to choose.
Yeah.
Yeah, and even in the time of the Spectrum, you had to choose. They were like my friend. I had an Amstrad. We had few games. My friend had Spectrum. He had 900 games. We were talking 1984 or 1986 or something like that. He had 700 or 900 games in his Spectrum. I never see all those games.
True,
I
true.
couldn't I couldn't go to his place every day and play, and I'm still not gonna see all those games.
True, true, true. Not to mention that a lot of games have been like canceled and not finished, or
But
has got out from the market, so you can buy them, especially if they were only physical versions of games.
yeah, like a real tournament, I'm really pissed off
True,
about that
true,
one.
true, true, true,
Like
true.
a real tournament, seriously, you're gonna take that out of the stores? I mean, come on, man.
Yeah,
I
it's
don't.
sad. It's sad. I never understood those, but yeah, it is what it is, I guess. That's why you have to experience, like we talked about it, in the present, those games, which might not be, you know, out there for everyone. But if you love them, you have to play them. Yeah.
A good reason for game preservation because I can still play a real tournament because I
True.
have it. I own it,
Yeah.
and I can play it. But online games, well,
Yeah.
those are gone.
Yeah. True.
Or games that you cannot play on the systems that we have available now.
True. True.
I
True.
I don't know. It
True.
is what it is. Times change.
Yeah. Minnie is saying that she will catch up with the end of the interview of hours, but she has to go to the shop to buy some food. Okay, okay. Thanks for being here. Sims is saying that I wonder that many games coming out will affect indie developers from being able to make money. I don't know.
I'm not sure what it means.
He said that I wonder that many games out there or will come out will affect developers from being able to make money. I don't think so because I feel like it's more of the promotion side. So if a game gets promoted enough, people will buy it, and I think that also like there are a huge amount of players who care about like searching for games.
Yeah,
In my opinion.
I mean, in the indie market, is definitely you need to do your marketing.
True, true,
I
true.
not even to sell a lot of copies, just to get people to know your game because there's so many, and you're still just one little
True.
star in the universe. And to me, it's fascinating because I think that I more or less know a lot of the community in the FPS. You go if you move around the Reload magazine posts, you would probably see a lot of the FPS, the indie FPS that are going on now. But I can stop seeing new ones. Some of them never post there. To me, that's the hub, but a lot of people never post there. I mean, there's so many FPS nowadays made by indie developers, and
True.
the thing is, if I'm looking for games and I haven't seen them yet, and some of them even are working fine, like this one that was released not long ago, the Aqua something. This one that was like a half-like, but it's online and it's for 4 players. You know which one I mean?
No. I haven't heard about that
Oh,
game.
Aqua something. It's really, really. It looks really amazing.
But
It's
it's
just that.
it's similar to a Biotic Factor, if you know that game. It's
Ah,
also
that
yeah,
one.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
That's the one I mean.
yeah.
So that I didn't know about that, and when I saw it in one of the shows that they did
Yeah.
not long ago, and I was like, "What the hell? The quality of this is so insane. It's just like really good. I never heard about it."
Exactly.
I mean, 2 years on Twitter, like grinding my game and pushing to look for new games and stuff, and I never seen that, not once. So I think that the most relevant thing is just get people to know it,
True,
and
true,
when you
true,
think a lot of people know, you haven't reached anyone yet. I mean, you have to really get to people.
true, true.
And I hear you need like 12,000 wish lists and stuff like that for your game to actually be able to support itself. So, and I've got like 4,000 now. So,
Yeah.
in my mind, even if it's free, I feel like I still need to do 2/3 of the job.
True. The
I need to do a
promotion
lot of
side as
marketing.
well. So
Yeah.
yeah, at the end of the day, I think it matters. Let's come to that. I said that very quick answer, saying no, but yeah, it matters. But I still feel like it's not affecting that much since it's if you are good at promoting and you can take your game out there, then people will buy eventually your game. So I think that's it's more like a healthier competition between indie developers, in my
Oh,
opinion.
yeah.
We could say
It's definitely
it's
healthier.
like it's not like okay, your game sold more because I don't know there are like so many games out there and my game did not sold that many. So it's I feel like since indie games are not that much expensive, people are more willing to play
Yeah.
and pay for more indie games in 1 month than just buy a AAA game, right? And also there are
Yeah.
sales as well. So
Right. And they also have a different kind of way to deal with how players engage with them, in the sense that a lot of the bigger games are trying to get you to play a lot of hours a day.
True.
But most indie games are just you play them, you finish them, you play another time if you want to play harder, and then you're done with the game. You can go to another one, and to me it's better. But that's also the person I am now today. Is 20 years ago, I would have said it's all multiplayer for me. So that depends
We
what
change. We
people want.
change. Yeah.
I just hope people keep wanting single player experiences because that's what I want to make. That's what I have more fun making. I still play Half Life like 20 years ago. I'll play. There's certain games that I'll play every year at least once.
True.
Because they're short enough and they are master classes of design.
True. Exactly.
But that's the kind of game indie games are doing now. Valve is doing live services now, but the indie games are doing the Half-Lives. And so you want to look at that. And even though I'm not into multiplayer, I'm really considering the Avionic Factor gaming. It just see, because I see it from the outside, I'm like, the quality is insane. And I love the kind of graphics, the way they go about the art. It reminds me of the Three Realms kind of art, like Wrath
Yeah.
and Iron Fury, was it?
Yeah.
Because they have like really amazing graphics, regardless of if the games end up
It's like
being
similar to cell shaded graphics in some way, right? Or is it cell shaded? I'm not sure if it's cell shaded. Is it called
I
cell
don't know.
shaded or not?
I don't know about these ones.
Yeah, it's like the Borderlands game style, It's,
Oh,
yeah, it's similar to that. It's not
okay.
that,
So,
but it's
yeah.
similar to that. Yeah.
It's a bit, yeah, it's a bit stylized, but to me, it's amazing how they use the pixels because all these games are pixelated. Like another game that does that is Proteus. Proteus actually is probably the game that made me make games
Nice.
because I liked it so much. I thought like, wow, this is almost better than the original Doom, man. This is so good. And once again, this game, since the time I tried it, it has changed, and I liked it better before, but that's one part of the reason why I like my games stay as they are because sometimes you're gonna do changes and I'm not gonna like them, and
True.
now I have to pirate the game if I want the version that I like better because my game is updated.
Yeah. Okay. Any more questions? We talked really about almost everything.
Really, yeah.
Yeah. Let me know. I appreciate, by the way, your time and that you're willing to speak about anything that we discussed. Thank you for that. And I'm honored to be here with you. And I hope that you will make games and also make music. Don't forget to send me your links to your music so I can listen to
Yeah, I will do.
after. Fentebb kérdeztél valamit? Oh, okay. Miss something. Gergovich is asking, it's a troll question, but do you have a favorite food, and if yes, what it is, and also are you going to put it in like an Easter egg to your game?
No, actually, I do have a favorite food, which it's a sauce. It's called alioli. It's made in my land. It's made in my motherland, and it's just mayonnaise with garlic.
Okay.
It's not really, but similar. And no, it's not in the game, but in the game we have pies, which is one of the favorite foods for I think a lot of British people, but I think also Jake Parr, which is the guy that does that voices the character.
Okay.
So we have pies, and you get heal yourself with pies, and then with sausages and beer because you're in Germany, so you might as well,
Okay.
So yeah, I haven't thought about putting. Well, actually, I did do something like that. Because I also love kebab, and you have kebabs in the game, which is it's the best healing item. It's a kebab, which is it's gonna give you like I think 125 or 100 life, depending on the level you're playing at. But it goes over the maximum, so you have 100 life. When you get it, then you'll get like 225 or something like that, which is
okay.
So that's the best food in the game, and that's actually one of my favorite foods. Yeah.
Nice.
Not so bad for a troll question.
True. Nice. Nice. Is there anything that you would like to say before we close here?
So much, man. I think we're good.
Okay,
I would like to repeat it sometime.
nice. Thank you. Thank you for everyone, by the way, for the great questions. And I cannot wait to play your game. And yeah, thank you for your time. Okay, guys and girls and guys in the stream, it's time. It's time for us to close, but you will be able to ask for or from our creator here on the
Yeah,
Discord channel as well.
I guess I also have a Discord channel. I don't know
Oh
if I
yeah,
should.
yeah. I will promote that too. Send me the link and I can promote that
All
too.
right, that's a good link. Yeah.
Don't forget
It's
to do
very
that.
it's very small right now because I'm not very good at keeping up, and I also don't have I don't have
I
a lot
know
of
we will
fun.
help you.
But I'm trying to start it up because I know
Nice,
Discord
nice.
is people. There's a lot of people there, and people want to be there, and people want you to have a channel. So I'm gonna try my best.
Thank you again, and thanks everyone who joined. Don't forget to wishlist the game. Promotion time.
Yeah. Literally,
and,
it's the game.
and try out the demo. And yeah, thanks for being here with us, everyone, and thanks for your time as well. I appreciate your time and being honest with us and discussing so many topics. I will need for some minutes of your time after the stream, but here
Sure.
I will close the stream now. So thank you everyone who will
All right.
watch back the VOD or watch us live. Thank you everyone. Bye bye and
Thank you
take
so
care.
much.
Peace out. Bye bye.
Peace out.